And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to the Words of Apocalypse Politics and Popcorn podcast. Easy for me to say.
It's a bit of a mouthful now there, isn't it?
And making a bunch of noise on his end,
Sorry.
building something.
That's right. That's right. There's a
apparently.
microphone. I forget that there's a microphone right there.
Right there, pointing at your dick. This is Dan. Welcome back, sir.
If that's what you want to see, then
My co-host. My
use
co-host.
your imagination.
So, lots been happening this week in movies and politics. Let's just jump right into it. So, what do you think of James Gunn? You like him? Is he a good director?
I think that's what they call what is it? Jump journalism? No, like bonsai journalism. What do they call it?
I don't know. Well, we just watched that Jimmy Kimmel Kanye interview, so I feel like I'm.
Oh, so I'm getting like morally entitled, and you're up on your high horse.
I'm getting there. But okay, this is interesting. I'm going to share this little article on the screen here, and we'll start with this. Hollywood director James Gunn publicly posts photos of himself at a pedophilia-themed To Catch a Predator party. My first question is, who throws a pedophilia-themed party, and who goes to a pedophilia-themed party?
Well, you do see the word Hollywood, don't you? Right,
pedowood. That's basically what it is. Here's some choice photos that were taken of him. He's dressed like a Catholic priest, which is, I guess, appropriate for the subject matter.
Jesus.
I mean, they're all adults at this party. I don't want to try and insinuate that they're actually kids there, at least that we know about.
Right.
But you know, like on top of everything else that's been going on, this doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all.
Yeah, it's really painting a hella sus picture.
Yeah, and you know, Hollywood, it's so full of sickness, and it's funny. You try to argue this with people. You try to tell people, yeah, Hollywood is full of scumbags and perverts, and Harvey Weinstein was just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
And people don't believe you. For some reason, they think like these Hollywood stars and producers and executives are just normal, good people like they are. And there's like,
right.
You know, and I try to talk to this about people. You know, Hollywood it's an industry unlike any other because you have people literally killing themselves to be a part of it. It's their dream since they were a kid to be, you know, in the lights and the silver screen, or at least be a part of it. You know, if you love movies as much as we do, certainly we've done that, and you still work in production. And I've done my share of things in the past because I shared those dreams also. And the thing about that is when a lot of young people go to Hollywood with their dreams, they're willing to do anything. And if you're someone in a position of power, why not take advantage of it, right? Especially when you're surrounded by people who are never going to turn you in, are never going to, make waves, or it's because they want to get in the industry too, right? Like it's this weird thing about power. And when you give people unlimited power, they take advantage of other people that are weak, that are vulnerable. And Hollywood is an industry unlike any other industry in that respect. There's no one packing up their life in a suitcase and going to chase their dreams to become a plumber. You know, it just doesn't happen. It's Hollywood. Although they probably should. They'd be happier being plumbers. But does this move up?
No, sure. I know what you mean. There's the idea of, you know, the Hollywood dream. And as you were describing what you were describing, the number one movie that popped into my head was Mulholland Drive. And that's a movie that really, really captures that idea of, you know, the power and influence and what it's capable of in the movie industry. And we're talking about a film that came out in the year 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
You know, so it's incredibly relevant today, and definitely deserves a rewatch. I think it could be good. I mean, partially because of its ambiguity, but also because of its political commentary, socio-political commentary that is relevant to today.
You know, I think you bring up a good point about Mulholland Drive. Now, that is not my favorite movie ever made. I don't like it at all, actually, but I do agree with you about its message and what it's trying to say. I think it's a good peek into that Hollywood mindset.
Yeah.
Another movie I'd put in that category is Swimming with Sharks with Kevin Spacey from 1998. I think it was. Yeah, for people out there who may not have heard of it, Kevin Spacey plays a Hollywood executive. He's kind of like the God, I'm trying to think of the name of the guy that produced all the big budget blockbusters in the 90s.
In the 90s, Rob Reiner?
No. I'm thinking not Michael Bay, but the producer.
The producer of The Producers?
Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. But anyway, Kevin Spacey plays this Hollywood executive, and he's a womanizer, a scumbag, abuses people, yells at people, and the young guy who's
Copies for closers type.
Who gets abused, he eventually ends up murdering someone, and that's kind of his ticket into the fast track to the top, you know. And it kind of comes down to, you know, the message of the whole movie is it's not how smart you are, or how hard you work. It's, you know, it's how much of a backbiter you are, how much you can betray people and get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And
if you want to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, and keep your mouth shut. You know, like you got to toe the line, and it's Hollywood is rife with that. And I think, you know, that's how you get away with things like having pedophile themed parties, because no other group of society other than NAMBLA maybe would think that's cool. You know, if anyone you know in your personal life, if they got an invitation to a To Catch a Predator pedophilia themed party, probably wouldn't go. I wouldn't go.
I would question who my friends are and what I've been doing with my life. That concept alone is pretty outrageous. Like, it seems like something that you would see in a South Park episode lampooning the whole thing, right?
But you're right. It does. It seems like
right, or it's like The Onion in real life. You know, like this is truly too like surreal almost. You know, it's I don't know, man. There's a paradigm shift happening. I know that's for sure, and it's the dopest thing ever. Because the complete antithesis to this kind of old Hollywood rule, old media rule, old liberal rule is somebody like Kanye West and Donald Trump and all these people that are just like, fuck it, let's just say what we think and see what happens.
It's like, getting to that point. It really is. It's so weird. I've never seen an environment full of such social pressure. Yeah. You know, we've never.
I honestly think the walkaway movement is doing a lot to change the paradigm. You know, like I think a lot of these, you know, anti-Trumpers, the people who weren't even necessarily liberals or pro-Hillary, they were just anti-Trump. They just lived to hate Trump, right? Mm-hmm. I think a lot of them are starting to wake up and realize, like, oh my God, I'm filling my life with all this purposeless anger and hatred. Like, and venom, like, while all these Trump supporters, you know, that I've been calling racist, like, it turns out, like, dude, like, over half of them are black, you know. How is that possible, right? Well, you know, that's what I hope people are saying in their heads, you know what I mean? Like, obviously no one would ever probably utter that out loud, you know. But I hope that's the kind of thought process a lot of these people are starting to go through, because I've noticed I'm not being like attacked as much, you know, on Facebook, and I've actually been a little bit more active, but mostly just posting like walkaway videos and stuff, and like, most of them, you know, I don't even have to go out of my way to post walkaway videos from non-white people. You know, like it's not difficult at all, because it's mostly non-white people, because like the community realizes that these are the voices that need to really, really rise up. And so the opposing side, or whatever you want to call it, you know, I don't think it's just liberalism, but you know, liberalism needs a makeover, you know, it needs a doppelganger built or something like that, you know. It needs to change, and so does you know, republicanism, conservatism in general is changing. The whole political landscape is changing.
Well, conservatives today are the
most exciting times
of the 80s.
Right.
Comes right down to it.
Yeah, even libertarians are like, all right, let's party with the conservatives, you know, like they're getting shit done.
Well, have you seen that hashtag Antifa so white?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. I wish I thought of that. Oh,
It,
fuck.
yeah, it's starting to trend now, and it's because people are noticing
Good.
there are
Yeah.
no black people in Antifa. It's all white college
Mm-hmm.
liberals.
Mm-hmm. 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 Dude, I mean, it's been clear since day one.
Hmm.
It's been clear since day one. They can wear all the black they want. I still know that's a white kid under there, you know?
Well, and you heard what they did this week. They basically accosted Candace Owens when she was having breakfast this week.
Sure.
Yeah, you know who Candace
Yeah.
Owens is, right?
This week, bro, are you kidding me? She's like one of my top conservative heroes.
Okay, good.
Like when I need like a faithful of humanity, I'll just search for her and listen to her speak for a minute.
Yeah, I like her a lot, and she's fucking smoking. I just find her
Oh
completely
God, she's
beautiful too.
so beautiful. Yeah, dude. I mean,
So that doesn't
she's
hurt
like,
either.
yeah, not more. Wait, no, we're live. We're live. Hold on, compose yourself.
Well, that's the thing
Uh,
I noticed. Black conservative women tend to be fucking knockouts. I don't know what it is, but it seems to be more
let me
often the
correct.
case than not.
Let me correct that statement for you. Conservative women tend to be knockouts.
All right, all right, yeah, I can get
P-
along with that.
period.
You know,
Period.
yeah, a lot of times. Well, fucking yeah. Look at Tommy Lauren. Oh my God, do they get any
Bro,
hotter? Yeah,
Kaya Jones, I'd
she's
say
a.
is hotter, in my
Uh,
humble opinion.
well, you know,
In my humble opinion.
nothing wrong with that. It's all good stuff. But yeah, Antifa, like they showed up to Candace. She was having breakfast this week and just started screaming. Like they're like just screaming and blowing whistles in her face
Oh
and
yeah, no, they're
not
saying like fuck white supremacy and like
yeah, all screaming that she was a white supremacist. There's not a
unbelievable.
single black person in the Antifa crowd.
Right. But like some of the cops are black and stuff like like
Yeah,
it
these
was
people have
it was
absolutely
literally like a
zero self
mhm.
awareness.
Yeah, a completely self-unaware race war basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
But honestly, it's just white people fighting themselves for attention
Mm-hmm.
because all of a sudden black people are getting all this attention. So these like, like college age white kids are like, I got to do something important for black people, So they get up in their little Antifa outfits and then they're
Yeah, they
then
think the
they're even
revolution.
more enraged because the illegals are getting separated and you can't the Trump's 1984. I read dystopian books, dude. Like literally, I had this one guy on my Facebook say, "How many dystopian books have you read?" Like I'm like, bro, you're like in your 40s. You're a father.
Well,
I'm 28 years old. Why are you challenging me by asking me like a grade school question? Oh, well, how many pull-ups can your dad do? I'm
yeah.
like for real? Like
Well,
you're gonna ask me how many dystopian books I read 1984 in fucking in high school. I read Brave New World in high school.
yeah.
I watched V for Vendetta in high school. Year Zero by Nine Inch Nails came out when I was in high school. So yeah, that sort of thing was very much prevalent in my mind and still is.
Well,
So
it's this.
you know,
It's an appeal to intellect fallacy that a lot of leftists like to use.
intellect fallacy. Oh my God, can I need to write that? That's exactly what it is. Intellect fallacy. There was a great video of Candace Owens actually recently that I saw where she was talking to some guy, some overly poetic, really cringy type of guy. And at one point, they were kind of talking over each other, and he accused her of being like a narcissist or something. And she said, "You're just using big words, and it was so true. I mean, like it wasn't used like that. It was like literally they were talking really fast against each other. You're just using big words and da 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 and da da da, and that's so much of what it is. It's like I'm basically like I can see them sniffing their own farts
Yeah,
as they type. You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's this sort of like
It's a
look
word
at
salad.
how
You
word
know,
salad, bro.
If you ever
Word style, bro.
was that Dyson guy debate Jordan Peterson and literally called him a white supremacist, and Jordan Peterson is like, here's the issue. Like, it's not so much that I find that label insulting, but you're basically breaking everything down to race, and there's no discussion that can be had because I can't change my skin color, you can't change your skin color, and if you focus on this, we're never going to get anywhere. And Dyson's reply was just like, well, 400 years of slavery and blah, blah, blah. And like just goes off for like 5 minutes. It doesn't say a goddamn thing. And it's something that is very common with the leftists. And some conservatives do it too. I don't mean to. But
they go on like impassioned little filibusters, They all want to be some kind of like filibustering hero. But like, bro, like once they start to sweat, they'd rather just fold and go home or call you a racist and cry. Like it's become, it went from bleeding heart liberalism to crying baby liberalism.
God, it's so true.
How profound was that? Did you just hear the mic drop? Because I just fucking...
That was good. That was Kanye level mic drop right there.
I'm pretty proud of that one. I love that part. Wasn't that great when he says, I know you all wanted to clap, but don't worry, everything I'm going to say is going to be amazing.
Well, and my favorite part of the whole, that whole Kanye interview with Jimmy Kimmel was when he says, I know we're black and we have to be monolithic and we have to be Democrats. We can only be one thing. And I'm like, saying that shit, because there's nothing more racist than saying, you're black, you have to be this way. And anything more degrading and insulting to the human spirit than saying your skin color dictates the way you should think. That is so
exactly
stupid.
Right. Yeah. Like it's to even, 100%. So I'm so glad that he's out there speaking his mind and saying that, because I think a lot of people, last time I checked, it was number 2. It was the number 2 trending video on YouTube, and I don't think you watched the whole thing. I think because I feel like there was another segment after that stupid ending question where he cuts him off. There's
where he's like, what did Trump do for black people or something like that? Which is a really ignorant question to ask, because right now black people have the lowest unemployment rate they've ever had in the history of the United States. And what's
CNN won't report that.
Well, and what's telling about that is, that was like something that was brought up when Donald Trump gave his State of the Union speech, or not State of the Union, but some speech, and the camera showed the Congressional Black Caucus, and they were just shaking their heads in disapproval, like they were upset hearing about the low unemployment rates for black people, and it really shows where their priorities are.
Exactly. I mean, listen, like, I forget who said it. It was probably Kanye, but like it could have also been like one of the many like YouTubers that I've been watching recently in their walkaway videos, or in just like other, basically just opinionated political videos. But somebody said something like, fuck. Oh, nope, totally lost my train of thought. Absolutely lost it all.
Oh, good job.
Yep, my bad.
No, it's okay. I was talking to someone I know on Facebook. I guess I consider him a friend. He posted this article that said 75% of Americans are cool with immigrants now, or something like that. And
what does that even mean?
I replied, I'm like, dude, immigration is not a controversial issue. Everyone's cool with immigrants. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, okay,
he's like, well, my dad, he hates all immigrants. And I'm like, well, you're from Florida.
Right. Yeah.
Only drooling idiots masturbating in public, screaming about the Illuminati don't like immigrants.
Right.
Those people don't matter.
Right.
Everyone is cool with immigrants.
Right. They're such a tiny minority that it's like, why are you making a big deal out of it? It's like white supremacy. Like, really? You like that's the big issue right now? White supremacy? All these fucking like jerk offs that members.
Like. I'm pretty sure they have no influence.
The Charlottesville thing, that was the dumbest thing ever. Like, that was as big as they could get. They were so proud of it. They're like, oh, we got everybody, from all over the country. We all drove down here to and do our thing, and and like, listen, I'm not trying to completely write off an entire group of people, because I think that that also is not fair. because I don't think every single one of the people at that rally was a genuine like racist that hated black people and wanted, you know, white supremacy. But they probably would have like let it happen if it was gonna, you know what I mean? like I don't think they were necessarily against it either. You know, but
I keep waiting for the day when, I mean, we literally had a gang of white people fucking terrorizing a black woman, and no one gives a fuck because the ones doing the terrorizing were leftists, so it's okay.
Yeah. Are you talking about when the woman was trying to protect Donald Trump's Hollywood star, like before he was even elected, like way back in the day?
I'm talking about Candace Owens. I'm talking about Candace Owens. Yeah. But yeah, that's another good point, though, about the star, yeah.
Yeah, no, not even about the star. I don't know if you ever saw this video, but there was like a homeless black woman on the Hollywood Walk of Fame who had her own like handmade pro-Trump signs.
Oh yeah,
she was totally pro-Trump.
She was getting beat up. Like that was fucking bad.
She got physically assaulted, bro.
Yeah, and it got no press, none at all. And this is a black woman being beat up by white liberals, and it gets. But you know, we're supposed to fucking freak out about the Ku Klux Klan, who literally has 8,000 members, which is absolutely nothing. We're supposed to worry about them. We're supposed to make this equivalency that, you know, the left and the left and right are both equally extreme, and they're both equally dangerous. And blah, bullshit, they are. The extreme right is nothing. It's a nothing burger. They're fucking mosquito on the back of a fucking elephant. They're irrelevant. They're less than irrelevant. The only people making them relevant are the extreme leftists that need a boogeyman. Otherwise, no one would pay attention to them.
Very well said. Yeah. They need
and
the boogeyman.
kind of plays into what happened with Alex Jones this week, right? You know.
Hey, listen. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of 1984 and all of that, like this what did you call it? Intellectual fallacy. You know, people try to say, look, history is repeating itself. Donald Trump is literally Hitler. Look at all these things he's doing that Hitler did. Exactly like Hitler did. Oh yeah, sure. Exactly like Hitler. That's right. Compare the plight of the Jewish people, you know, during World War II to illegal immigrant families that you know are being put up in camps because they came over illegally. And hey, you know, here's a camp for you guys.
If Donald Trump talked the way leftists do about white people, if he talked that way about Mexicans or black people,
about anything,
he's a racist piece of shit. The thing is he doesn't. Everything he says about whenever talking about any of these topics, he's very specific about real world problems. He's not painting with a broad brush, and that's the mistake everyone makes. When Trump says, you know, they're sending their worst people, their rapists, their drug dealers, he's 100% correct. That's what the Mexican government wants. Like it's not. Right. It's not a statement about Mexican people. He even goes on to say, you know, like Mexican people, they're fantastic people. They're good, you know, like.
Yeah.
But everyone forgets that.
And I picture him eating a taco bowl.
All Mexicans are rapists and drug dealers. And
hey, listen. I know, but that listen. The thing that's already happened. Cuba in the 80s? Didn't any see Scarface?
Right.
Like, it's so funny because people that love Hollywood and Hollywood movies and actors and all these liberal heroes, you know, that star in all these movies. But you know what? The message of these movies has been a lot of what Donald Trump is saying right now. Like, Hollywood has put out a lot of movies about, like, you know, the Mexican drug cartel. Look at Sicario recently.
Yeah.
You know, those boys are all Republican. I love, man, Brolin and Del Toro. You know,
man. Josh Brolin is the man.
He's the fucking man.
Things about that guy.
Mm-hmm. Big.
But you know,
I think either American Gangster or Planet Terror, which is interesting because I didn't see Goonies till later. But he was like a high school hero.
What, Josh Brolin was in Planet Terror?
Bro, yeah, he was killer in that. Like, legitimately killer.
I need to see that movie again. I think I was really drunk when I watched it with you that one time.
Yeah, and it depends on if we watch that or Death Proof first, because no, probably that, because
Death Proof technically. Death Proof again, man. I'm sorry. I love Kurt Russell. I love Tarantino, but Death Proof was dog shit, man. I fucking hate that movie. Like there's a good 25, 30 minutes in it that I would say is good. The rest of it though is just garbage.
I would like a really solid suspense thriller chunk of the film, and then there's a really kind of weird like summertime camp out vibe part of the film that I think is very, very like it hits all the right notes. But yeah, if you don't like listening to people just talk about shit that you know isn't relevant to what's going to happen.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of from the old school of script writing where, you know, like everything should have a point, and every line of dialogue should either tell us something about the character that's relevant to the movie or it moves the story forward. I don't care about random chick banter. I mean, I hate chick banter anyway, as a rule, but none of that banter goes anywhere. It doesn't tell a story. It's just time filler. It's like, I feel like Tarantino was trying to get laid or something throughout that whole production. He's like, just talk about whatever you want. Even though I know he wrote the script and they weren't ad-libbing. It was so fucking shallow and banal.
It's wow. The way that you just said that really makes me look at the whole situation very differently. I need to watch a behind-the-scenes documentary of that movie right now, and come to my own conclusions. Because I mean, hey, you know, I mean, we all know Tarantino. Like, you know, he's got his things. You know, he's got his things. He knew Weinstein. Like,
he's a great director, but I think everyone.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's got some skeletons in his closet.
He can be a bit self-indulgent, and I think even his fans.
I mean, that's an understatement. That's an understatement. I think he's pretty much the Kanye West of you know, like 90s auteur filmmaking or whatever, you know, which is such a broad. It's not an accurate description, but they are both kind of like their own individual, colorful, unique voices. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's something
you definitely don't agree.
I was just trying to process what you're saying, but I agree. I like Tarantino's voice because, first of all, he's a different type of director, and we need that. That's the real diversity that is needed in Hollywood. That's the reason. That's the kind of creative diversity that we had in the '80s, that's why we had so many good movies come out in the '80s, because, you know,
John Carpenter was given you know, free reign to, you know, do what he wanted, and he had a gorgeous vision, you know, and not just John Carpenter, but Terminator, Aliens, James Cameron, you know. Come on, you know, we're talking about like a period of honest to God American filmmaking innovation in visual and practical effects.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Star Wars kind of kicked off a lot of it. Like, you know, Lucasfilm has really been very significant in the development of what we see on film.
Oh, most definitely. Definitely.
Which is why
George Lucas, for all his faults, I think is probably most responsible for the development of filmmaking as it exists today. You know, how we tell stories, how we deconstruct stories, and I think there's a lot of wannabe hacks out there that, you know, like keep using George Lucas as like the benchmark of someone they want to do better than or show up, or, you know what I mean?
Really?
And they can't do it because they don't.
I don't hear anybody trying to be like George Lucas or comparing themselves to George Lucas or whatever. Like,
well, I don't mean be like George Lucas. I mean show up George Lucas. Like, be like, oh, you did this. Well, I'm going to do this, and it's better, and it ends up sucking. You know what I mean?
I wish more people thought like that, because I don't think enough people do think like that. Like, the last time we had something like that, there was like, what, John Carter? Wasn't that like a more or less original like film series that could have, you know, sci-fi epic kind of thing that, you know, people could have fallen in love with?
Based off a novel, though.
Off a novel? Was it a graphic novel, or was it?
No,
it was a graphic novel, right?
Novel.
It's like a novel.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, see, I mean, that could have been cool too. You know,
that came out that, you know, that Star Wars, you know, apparently got a lot of inspiration from, but they made that movie and it sucked, right?
Did you see it?
No, I didn't. I'm
Well, then you can't say it sucked. I haven't
okay.
seen it, but I
But I'm not
am
talking about my
interested in
opinion.
seeing it.
I'm talking about the
General
cultural
consensus.
consensus because
Cultural
it didn't do
consensus.
well in the
Whose
box
culture?
office and it didn't get
Sure.
you know what I mean?
No, I definitely know what you mean. I'm just, I'm arguing for the sake of conversation.
No, yeah,
But yeah,
the movie might be great. I
whose
don't know.
culture?
I have to
Because
watch it to make that judgment. I'm just talking
yeah, because
about
that's
where
the thing. Somebody who hated Valerian might have loved Last Jedi, and somebody who hated Last Jedi might have loved Valerian. Or any combination of that. You know what I mean? Like,
here, the question I have for anyone that loves The Last Jedi is, what did you love about it?
why? What did you love
Because
about it? Sure.
I honestly can't think of anything that is worthwhile in that movie.
To like
It
really
feels on such a
love about it.
fundamental level
Mm-hmm.
at everything it tries to do.
And
Like,
well, okay, I think I figured out why The Last Jedi fails. Because it tried to be a trilogy in one film.
huh? Explain.
So we could honestly have started the story at some girl arriving, searching for Luke Skywalker, you know what I mean, with a lightsaber. Like that could have been the beginning. You know, that could have been the spaceship that comes down and, you know, she comes up the stairs and the first words of the film are you Luke Skywalker? You know, Daisy really.
I love that impression. That was good.
Thank you.
Skywalker.
Right. You know, like it could have just started and all that magic and mysticism of Star Wars. Just give us Luke right away. Let's just give us our two big heroes right away. And then, you know, they go through some shit and then they reunite with either Leia or Han, and then later they reunite with the other one. And by the end of the movie, everyone's all back together and there's a big fucking award ceremony. And, you know, this time Chewie gets an award like he deserves, you know, or like a necklace, you know what I mean? Like, bro, like they fucked up so bad with this trilogy. Like the first movie should have been 100% fan service.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got three movies to build this world. Let's just straight. Okay, J.J. Abrams, you shut your goddamn mouth and stay the fuck away from Damon Lindelof. You know, like I'd rather have David Lynch up in this bitch right now. Woo. You know, because what they did with this series is drag it out in a way that dragged it through the mud.
Yes.
There was no vision. There was no real passion for the community and for the history and the legend that they were dealing with. It was just ego after ego that ultimately led these movies to be shallow and overproduced.
That's the thing. People say it's like it's deep and it has messages, and you just didn't like it because it wasn't Luke Skywalker destroying Star Destroyers. And I'm like, that is completely wrong. There's no one that felt that way. Maybe there was some children that felt that way, but I saw The Last Jedi in the theater. I didn't buy the ticket. My ticket was paid for me. I was new on the job, and my boss took the whole team to the movies, and that's how I saw it. And I walked out of that theater, and they asked me what I thought, and I said, I've never seen a movie that hated me so much for wanting to enjoy it.
Wow, profound, bro.
Like, I really went into it. Like, I saw all the spoilers. I read it. I knew it was going to be hot garbage. But I walked in, I'm like, you know what? I'm here. It's Star Wars. It can't really be that bad. I'm going to find things to like about this. And I couldn't.
James, therein still lies the problem. Like, even though you went in with that mindset, like, you didn't let it surprise you the way that it should have, which I think would have just led to an even more crushing disappointment, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. If I had not had any spoilers and I just walked in thinking I was going to watch a follow-up to The Force Awakens, I would have probably been enraged by the time I left. Yeah.
You would have looked for the first place where you could order yourself a AMF or something.
Yeah.
I mean, when I walked out of there, I was like, I mean, it was like a good movie, I guess, but like I felt zero of the magic of Star Wars. You know, like even in Force Awakens, when I left that film, you know, it still felt like I'd experienced something like monumental, you know, like watching Han Solo be murdered by his own son. I mean, that was poetic. That was Shakespearean. That was, you know, it was kind of stupid in the sense that, like, it really kind of didn't serve that much of a purpose. And it was just kind of like, oh, this is happening because this needs to happen now, you know. But, like, the scene itself, I thought, you know, was very memorable and was iconic Star Wars. It's what you want in Star Wars. There's a lot of things about Force Awakens that, to me, rang so true to the magic and the legacy of what made the original so special. And it was just little things, too. You know, like during the opening sequence with the villagers, when, like, they pull up one of the villagers and he's, like, this weird, you know, space-faced alien. And he's screaming some, like, kind of like, you know, like something super Star Warsy, or like that little creature comes up from the sand and says something like, blah, 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 you know, like all these tiny little moments that I think ultimately really added to like the overall authenticity of it feeling like a Star Wars film. A lot of those things were not present at all in The Last Jedi. I feel like Rian Johnson knows the story and has seen the movies of Star Wars, but didn't grow up with them and doesn't appreciate like the rich universe that has been created, you know?
Well, I think even more so than that, I think Rian Johnson actively hated Star Wars, and that's why Kathleen Kennedy hired him, because they're on the same level. I think Kathleen Kennedy has this built-up resentment against the whole franchise because of whatever bitterness she's had. And Rian Johnson came in, he's like, yeah, I think Star Wars is for fags. And, you know, she's probably like, oh, great. Can you make a movie that shits all over Star Wars fans? And he's like, yep. And
get this. She worked on like all the originals, right? To some capacity as like an assistant to
fetching coffee,
you know. Right. So what if like she felt like this kind of feminist rage, this sort of like entitled, feeling of power now that she is the head of Lucasfilm, that George was just too sweet and naive to see in her? Because I can see that about George. George just seems like a nice fucking guy, and then he's, you know, like, I just want to be a dad. You know, I just want to play with my kids. And, I don't know, make movies at home movies. I'm like, all right. So Kathleen Kennedy took the reins and got her revenge in some ways, you know.
I think that was a big part of it. But, you know, you mentioned Force Awakens. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Sure.
I did not like Force Awakens, but I knew it was going to be a bad movie the moment they announced J.J. Abrams would direct it, because
you absolutely hate J.J. Abrams and everything that he did to Star Trek
for decades now. Like starting with Lost, you know, I fucking the dude is a hack. He's
but
really
James,
good. Huh.
But James, listen, before you take off, like the rocket that you are, okay, remember the way that you are currently talking about J.J. Abrams and have talked about J.J. Abrams very often in the time that I have spent knowing you is very much akin to the way that modern leftists talk about Donald Trump.
Okay, explain that to me.
This sort of blind rage and venom and anger that looks beyond all possible logic and realm. I think you have it out for a few people, and absolutely nothing that could change your mind on the for J.J. Abrams. I haven't even seen Lost. You know, I kind of purposely have avoided it because I kind of realized it was just gonna ping pong, and petter out.
Well, the thing about Lost is J.J. Abrams isn't to blame entirely for what happened there. He turned it over to Damon Lindelof and whatever fuckhead the other guy was, and they're the ones that ended up like really fucking with anybody that cared about the show. But my bigger issue with JJ is he's like a little kid. He has these ideas. He's like, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? Wouldn't it be cool if we did that? Wouldn't it be cool? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well, how do we explain this within the logic of the universe you're creating? And he's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The audience will write the show for me because that's what they do. And I'm just going to collect my money and pretend to be a genius. And that's not how you direct a movie. And he's really good at spectacle, and he's really good at manipulating people's expectations. He's not good at telling the story, though. I could even make the argument that he has a place in Hollywood as an idea man, but he needs to be surrounded by competent writers that know how to bring these things home. He can't do that.
Yeah, he's more of a producer,
one second. I gotta
think.
visit.
You know.
1 second. Be right back.
Copy that. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. That's the sound of an opening garage door. With an emphasis on the garage. And, ooh, what is that? Oh, just ended as soon as I said that. Oh, whoop, there it goes again. It's like a busy night for the police department. Oh, my.
All right, everyone. Sorry about that. Had to take care of some personal business.
Nights.
I am back now.
Do you like my commercial break?
Get ready for the podcast to take off now.
Ow. I just need to get a wah pedal and an electric guitar and an amp.
Okay,
and I need to learn how to make that funky sound.
I can make a funky sound, and I don't even need instruments. Just need some Mexican food.
Listen, I'm much better off without that funky sound.
So, what was I saying about J.J. Abrams? Oh, yeah, like he's got some cool ideas.
Something about the Antichrist.
What are you doing? Why do you keep cutting me off?
It's like a ad lib, like in mumble rap when they have ad libs like skirt and little things, little ad libs.
Is that what you call it these days?
It's like it's like a little like shout out, like a little sometimes a little jab, like a little.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's get back on J.J. Abrams here, because there was a point I was trying to make.
Listen, I don't think you've ever gotten off J.J. Abrams.
I've gotten off J.J. Abrams many times. Right in the ass.
Oh my God. Okay, sir.
Let's look at his filmography for a minute. Cloverfield? Good movie. You don't need to watch it more than once. It has
Matt Reeves
replay value. There's nothing really to take away from it that you won't get it the first time.
That's your opinion.
You think so?
I love it. Yeah,
I liked it.
I watch it like once every couple of years at least.
Don't you find it really obnoxious and loud and headache-inducing though?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe if I was like really drunk and high at the same time, it would probably create that effect. But but I feel like that any time I get really drunk and really high. So, but that movie would definitely probably make me throw up if that was the case.
Don't you think though the marketing for Cloverfield was better than the movie?
Yeah, maybe.
Because I'll admit the marketing was fucking genius.
Maybe.
It was just like, holy shit, what's going on? And it kept everyone. We didn't even know the name of the movie.
Right. Yeah. No, I remember being a part of that whole thing, and it was such a fun time. The late 2000s, a lot of those ARGs were going on. Like Nine Inch Nails had one for Year Zero. Yeah. That was the dopest. The Nine Inch Nails ARG alone is better than the Cloverfield movie. All right. Like, oh, dude, what Trent and Co. did for that was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Trent Reznor is an actual artist with ideas.
Yeah, he's a visionary.
Yeah, he's got a plan. And anyone that's ever tried to write a story has an idea for what they're trying to get across to the audience, but not J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams is all spectacle. You look at those. You look at the Star Trek movies that he did. Yeah, you go back and watch.
He's all about asking questions. He's all about asking questions, and yeah, spectacle. You're totally spot on about that.
Yeah,
he doesn't need to know the answers to his questions. But the thing is, you can say the same thing about David Lynch. But the thing is, with David Lynch, it works because David Lynch comes from a much more deeper, genuine, authentic place from his like actual deep consciousness. You know what I mean? JJ is just like, okay, yeah, like that one scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark, we could do something like that, but like we can, you know what I mean? Like it's much more like tactical and less intuitive. Nothing of his films ever feels intuitive, but I'll say this: I enjoy the movies that he has produced or executive produced much more than his actual filmography, except for Super 8, which you have to see because that movie is so fucking great, and I think you're actually going to love it.
I've already seen Goonies. All right.
Oh, come on, man.
And I made the mistake of watching the first season of Stranger Things too, and that show is dog shit. I don't know why people like it. It's just this weird infatuation. I have an infatuation with the 80s, but
of course you hate Stranger Things.
Of course,
Stranger Things is like
shit. I don't like shit.
I know it's not shit. You of course you like shit. I like shit. I mean, okay. I should probably be. Listen, there's all sorts of shitty movies that are fun to watch.
Soundbite against
That's a soundbite. That's a soundbite right there. I know, right? No, shit. B movies. Like popcorn trash. You know what I mean? Like things that are like objectively kind of shit. Yeah, like you still watch it because it's fun.
Yeah, if we sit down and we watch Samurai Cop, we're not watching it with the same intention that we would watch Stranger Things. We're watching it because we know it's bad and we're going to laugh at how bad it is. Whereas Stranger Things,
but I don't think Stranger Things is bad. I think Stranger Things is pretty good. It's very good, actually. It's probably one of the better shows that is on TV or whatever right now. It's probably one of the better.
Well, it's definitely the best show Netflix has ever produced, but that's not saying a whole lot.
Dude, Netflix is doing just fine. I mean, I'm not I haven't watched a lot of their original content.
Netflix is the modern day direct to video. Like they keep producing shit no one wants to watch. Like they just watch it because they have a Netflix subscription and they just want to have something on to watch. But no one likes anything that Netflix is producing. It's all garbage.
I wouldn't say it's all garbage. There's definitely some movies, some Netflix films that I've watched that I would consider to be like true cinematic art and like really quality film.
Well, I will admit I haven't seen it.
However, I will say this. Okay.
Well, I've heard Altered Carbon is quite good.
See, I think I've seen the name of that show, but I've never watched it. Like I haven't even had Netflix in like months now. I've just been using like Amazon Prime basically if I want to watch something random that I don't own. But I haven't been watching many movies. I've just been listening to a lot of records and trying to do artistic, creative things. Anyways, this has nothing to do with any of that. Where's the popcorn? Where's the politics?
What are you, a hipster now?
Bro, I've been a hipster my whole life, basically.
You can't see my smile. I'm totally laughing.
No, I know. Yeah, I mean, like I am, but I'm not. But like, isn't that what any hipster would say? You
No,
know,
yeah.
so it's like it's a death trap. There's nothing I can do to
What
say, you know, like.
this is totally off topic, but I was talking to a buddy the other day about how technology has improved media in a lot of ways, except audio. Like you go back and you listen to audio equipment from the 1920s, the 1930s, and it sounds way better than anything you're going to hear today in terms of sound fidelity and quality, because it was all analog.
Hold on,
It's all
wait,
analog.
listen. First of all, James, you're definitely talking out of your ass. The 1920s and 30s, really?
Dude, you
Okay,
go and
the
fucking
1970s, yes. The 1970s analog sounds fucking fantastic. Absolutely. If you record with that kind of material and, put it into a digital modern format and, put as many filters and all that and as you want it and then yeah, we're talking about high fidelity. We're talking about, that's the reason why I love Chromatics. Chromatics records everything on analog material. Like it's technically kind of like electronic music, but they make it all analog. You know what I mean? It's not like they sit at a laptop and punch it all out, right? There's a real like respect for instrument and for authenticity and not just, signals through cable, vibration and it's much bigger than that, right? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Well, what I'm getting at is back then, the reason why I refer to that era is because there was no digital. Everything had to be completely amplified by virtue of manipulating the sound waves, the vibrations, and and so you had to use things like brass and copper and all that shit in order to get the sound to be the way it wanted. And while the equipment may not be the best, the fundamental thought behind it is what makes the sound so much better. There's no, like, they didn't have speakers back then. You didn't have electric cables connected to a speaker that was carrying those sound vibrations. It was actual
Exactly.
it was actual tubes and things like that carried that sound and made it louder.
Exactly. And see,
What.
that's why I think vinyl is such a magical medium because, listen, when you put down a vinyl record and you let it spin and you put that needle down, even if your speakers are off, if you listen close enough to the sound that the needle is making when it hits that record as it spins, you can hear the music.
Yeah.
Like that's what blows my mind about vinyl. Like vinyl is literally a physical,
Yep.
you're holding the music in your hands. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. CDs are cool. They kind of got like a retro vibe now because like they're more of like a 90s, 80s, 90s sort of thing, early 2000s, But vinyl records are this beautiful, I mean, it's physical music.
Yeah, they really are. I understand people's passion for it, and I think we just went a long way around to explain my offhanded remark at you about being a hipster. I do get it, though. I do, absolutely. But it's unlike, whereas, video's improved. Video quality's improved over the years. I feel like audio quality has not kept up.
I feel like you are wrong there as well because, yes, like analog, yes, of course, is the best way to record sound, but in the same sense that like film is the best way to record, a movie or images, in general. It has this sort of like ethereal quality to it that, it isn't like sterilized feeling. It feels real and authentic, and like it came from nature rather than something that could have been put together by a sequence of zeros and ones.
Well, look, 32 millimeter is never going to be completely replaced. Neither will IMAX. I mean, nothing's going to be able to match that level of quality and detail.
Well, every medium, yeah. Well, no, it's not quality and detail because you want quality and detail. You watch a fucking, something recording, 30 high def, 30 frames per second, high def resolution, like the Hobbit movies and all that. Like that's when you want quality and detail. But when you want like magic and like mystery and like a otherworldly kind of film, film provides that sort of like, hey, this isn't just real life sort of thing, you know. But the proliferation of consumer level digital cameras, and not to mention our own cell phones in our pockets. Right. But I actually kind of like the things that you can film on your cell phone, because the quality is like, it's not too high def, like it is, but like you can kind of make it look like.
Well, I like cell phone cameras just because we get so much content now. Like we get a slice in everyone's life these days because everything goes up on the internet. And
or like monumental world events
quite a bit.
Yeah. No, I think it's crucial that every human being has something like this. But the thing is, like, yeah, it's kind of a danger. We've all seen The Dark Knight, which I'm pretty sure we've all seen The Dark Knight. You know what I mean? Like, Batman uses some, like, kind of totalitarian methods to track down the Joker, if you really think about it. And then, what do you know? I don't know. The Boston Bombers didn't have anything to do with Batman.
Have you ever watched, like, HD television on, like, a TV?
On an HD TV? Dude, it's surreal. It like looks like beyond real life. Like it doesn't like, I don't enjoy it.
Like I don't like being able to see all the pores in an actor's face.
Exactly. I'll
and
never
sometimes
forget.
It makes the lighting look really cheap, even though I know it's professionally done. It makes it look like I don't know. It devalues it. I think you get so much detail that it looks bad. You know, it kind of goes full circle.
It looks like soap opera, reality TV show. Like I'll never ever forget when I saw Public Enemies in theaters for the first time, and it was one of those first like big movies that was like all digital, high def, you know. And there was like a sex scene between Johnny Depp and Marion Cotillard, and at least I think it was Marion Cotillard. It might have been one of the other girls. I don't know. I don't even remember most of that cast. It's actually got a great cast, but it's beyond the point. And I could just remember seeing every little pore on Johnny Depp's face, like, I guess Johnny Depp really is in his late 40s now, huh?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and bro, I'm like at a cheap little movie theater and I can see all that. Like, imagine like Blu-ray quality, you know what I mean? Like Blu-ray quality. Once you get that in your living room, it's like, damn. Oh, I guess Johnny Depp actually did age a lot younger than we thought he did. It was just that film photography.
I think you could make that look work for you if you were going to make like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type horror movie where you want it to look, you know, really just off-putting and gross because it's just too detailed.
Well,
I think something like that.
That's why found footage films became what they became for a while. You know. They were huge. Everybody, fucking George Romero started doing found footage films.
Well, you know, people started doing found footage because they're cheap to produce and they made a lot of money. I mean, that was the big thing. You know, like how fucking easy is it to make a fucking found footage movie? And you know, even if you only make $10 million, you spent what, 500 grand making it. You know, so it's a huge profit.
But that's what I'm saying. It just made filmmaking in general easier for everybody. So people got some people got lazy in places. Like Inland Empire was filmed entirely like on a consumer level camcorder from like the fucking late 90s, you know.
Yeah.
But it adds a certain quality to it, right? Like I think I would actually personally love to pick up like an old Canon GL2, which is the camera that I had that was literally stolen out of my house, my apartment. The first place I ever lived outside of my parents' place.
You know, I like Inland Empire. That's a good movie.
Yeah, you've said that. You've said that.
I'm not a big fan
which is good to know.
I think that movie is probably one of his most coherent.
Which one?
Inland Empire.
No, which one are you not a fan of? You said.
Oh, like Mulholland Drive and. You know, shit like that where you just, I don't know. Maybe I need to see Mulholland Drive again, but
you really do, because the last time we talked about it, I could tell that you had the wrong perspective about the movie going into it.
Well,
and
no,
that
I had
definitely
no perspective going into it. I didn't even know what I was in for. All I know is what I left with was, oh, this was just an excuse to show a lesbian fantasy scene. Like,
Right. See, yeah, that was just your personal opinion of it at the time, and I think that was colored by maybe your own personal feelings at the time. And
sure, we
I
all
don't
watch
think that's a
movies through
very
our
fair
personal lens.
assessment.
Watching, I've always said this: watching movies is a personal experience. It's going to touch you in a way
Absolutely.
that reflects, where you're at right now, or it may,
Mm-hmm.
touch into something that from your past that matters to you that other
Mm-hmm.
people may not feel. Music's the same way too.
Exactly. I used to say that going to the theater was like going to church, because you'd go see something and it would like apply to your life, and it would like, you see yourself. Everybody on screen is your avatar in a way, male, female, black, white, whatever.
Yep.
Like
Yep. I couldn't agree
when
more.
you experience a film, everyone on that screen is your avatar,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them you want to be more like, and some of them you want to get the fuck away from. But either way, every single person on that screen is your avatar, and you will connect with them to some capacity, whether consciously or subconsciously. And that's the beauty of film and cinema, and that's what makes it a true art form. And I think it's an all-encompassing art form because it doesn't just deal with beautiful images, but also moving images that tell stories, and there's music involved sometimes, most times, poetry, like all there's so many different aspects that can go into what like a piece of film is. And I think maybe we need to start redefining what that is, like maybe like Terry Malick, as they call him, Terrence Malick, and guys like Wim Wenders and Lars von Trier, maybe they're right. Maybe movies should be a little bit more like abstract and like um, symbolic
You got to
and
be careful with that,
silent.
though,
And
because it's
well, I mean,
very
if you're a pretentious
line
hack, you
between auteurs and hacks. You know,
exactly.
anyone that's ever watched like a college film student production knows
But the
exactly.
idea is to teach people not to be hacks and to teach people to be genuine. Because I think when you're genuine, if you're genuine, you can't be a hack. Even if you're not good at something, you still won't be a hack. You'll just have done something not that well. Like a hack is somebody who like literally gets by on the skin of their teeth, like Uwe Ball or Michael Bay.
You know what? I'm gonna argue with you on this. I like Uwe Ball.
Uwe Ball, and
I
you
don't
think
like
he's a
his movies.
genius?
I don't like his movies, and I don't think he's a genius. But he makes
Mm.
the movies he wants to make, and that's fine with me.
You like him in the same way that I like Martin Shkreli.
Oh, shit. That's fucked up, man.
That's an in a minute, right, man? He's still sitting behind bars. Poor little emo boy.
I'm fine with that. He
Talking
should,
shit to Ghostface
can't
Killer. I
price
fucking love
gouge.
that guy. That's so
But that's
funny.
different. That's different.
Uh,
Uwe Ball, though, you know what? He fucking challenged one of his critics to a boxing match, and like how cool is that? Like whatever, and the critic took him up on it and got knocked out. I think that's fucking great. I wish Ryan Johnson
Wait,
would have
it
the balls to
actually
do that.
happened?
If Ryan
Dude,
Johnson
right?
had the oh, dude, no, it happened.
Dude, imagine Ryan Johnson versus Jeremy. Come on.
From Geeks and Gamers.
What other?
Oh,
like,
man.
wouldn't that be a fucking beautiful dream come true?
You know what? That movie would make more than Solo.
Ooh, wow.
That pay-per-view would make more than Solo.
Let's hope it's bigger than TMZ.
Disney
but
should
then again,
capitalize
TMZ
on
might
that.
be just
If they like money, they should like totally have Ryan Johnson box a critic. That would be great.
Bob Iger ain't no fool, but neither is Ryan Johnson. He won't put up with it.
He won't do it because he knows his Pillsbury Doughboy bodies.
Oh yeah, bro, he's like 5'5" or something. He's like really short. He's a tiny little rat. He's a tiny little. Hey, I find that term offensive. All right, as a 5'8", bro. I'd like to say, you know what? I'm a lot more manly than some fucking 6'4" motherfuckers I met. So please suck my dick and get the fuck off. For real.
So Ryan Johnson,
bro, I had to tell. Can I talk about how dope I am for a second, real quick?
How deaf you are?
Can you know how deaf you are? Because I said dope. Can I talk about how dope I am?
Oh,
and how deaf you are, apparently.
Yeah, tell our viewing audience how dope you are. I'm sure that's really interesting to them.
I know it is for a fact. So I am but a lowly PA, right? You know what that means?
No.
You've been in the industry. You know what that means.
I don't know.
Means I'm the grunt. I'm the runner. I drive people around. I go get coffee. I go get there's around sometimes. You know,
You're
and sometimes,
the guy in the rear with the gear and the beer.
that's actually a very accurate description of my job title. Yeah. No, but get this, man. Because listen, life is all about just not really giving a fuck about what society expects of you and what like the energy field is throwing at you. You create your own energy field, and you can convert whatever fucking energy is being thrown your way and convert it into benefits you more. So if I get into a negative situation like I was very recently when I was on this Tech Scout with a director, a producer, and a DP, right? I got along really, really well with the DP because he was like Danish, right? So like he loved Lars von Trier and Nicholas Winding Refn, and like I had him as soon as I said Pusher trilogy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he was so chill. He was like the like vaguely European cousin that I never had. You know. Actually, I've got a few of those, but
I like that term, vaguely European.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? I love it.
It's like kind of like a Tommy Wiseau kind of person. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you get. I'm not sure what part of Europe you're from. You know. Yeah. My director though was this fucking dick ass, stuck up his butt, pretentious hack. A hack. I'm surprised he got the job because, first of all, he's such a fucking asshole. I heard him over walkie. I heard him bitching and moaning and crying, and I'm like, bro, I get that this is a high-profile thing for you, but you don't have to be a fucking little baby about it. You know what I mean? You don't have to blame every little thing aside from the fact that maybe you don't know how to run a show. Sorry, bro. So anyways, when we were on the Tech Scout, I was playing some music. We drove past some music. It was a huge line, and we're like, whoa, oh, I wonder who. And I'm like, oh, it's this artist that I just so happen to have been really into lately. So I played it, and the dude was like, oh, really? Oh, this fucking sucks, or something like that. So this is our director, mind you, and I'm but the lowly PA that's driving him around for their B-roll footage, right? And I say, oh, fuck you. This is amazing.
You said that?
And then I looked him in the eyes the next day when he was giving his big speech about the production and how it's such a beautiful story and blah, blah, blah. And I could tell that he could tell that I could tell that he was so full of shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't take him seriously one bit. The producers love me though, because you know what? I said my piece, bro, and I'm not gonna hold no beef just because you don't like this particular artist, just because you are all grumpy and shit, and you're like, oh, this is, like, bro, that's on you.
Is there anything more obnoxious than a pseudo intellectual?
A pseudo intellectual social justice warrior.
Oh,
is probably the worst thing. Like stuck in an elevator nightmare.
Basically every social justice warrior.
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. It takes anti-intellectualism to be a social justice warrior, because everything that a social justice warrior believes takes an absurd amount of mental gymnastics to be able to land on and be like, yes, that's the right thing for the world and life and the human race.
Just look at their take on guns, for example. Like, supposedly cops are racist, authoritarian, and they hate everyone, and they just like to kill black people for no reason. But at the same time, they don't want anyone to have guns but cops. How the fuck does that make sense? Like, if you're going to accept their fucking arguments and their worldview, and you follow each through to their logical conclusion, like, why does their solutions solve any of the problems that they say are there? They don't. Like, even if you're a true blue believer and you're like, I want to fix this problem and I think this is the answer, then and you can't support the other at the same time. It just doesn't make sense.
I think I kind of missed your point there, just because it got a little bit more vague than I was actively
Well,
paying
basically,
attention to.
look, like SJWs believe, we need to restrict private gun ownership, and that
Sure.
way only cops have guns, right?
Right. So
Right.
they're afraid of a totalitarian government, but at the same time, the only kind of government they want is a totalitarian one, which is
Yes.
why democratic socialism doesn't make any sense, because
Yes.
no form of socialism has ever made any sense, because it just leads to rot and riot and the
Well,
death of culture.
like I always say, like if you're a black person that believes that cops are all racist and they're out to kill you, then why on earth would you support gun control?
Right.
Like if you really believe that, then you need your guns to protect yourself from the racist cops,
Mm-hmm.
right? But for some reason, those two things never seem to come together for them. They don't get it. They don't get the contradiction, how they're defeating their own cause.
Because CNN and ABC and none of these major news networks will ever talk about Chicago.
Oh, man.
Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, do I really?
What a mess. There are Democrats in Chicago begging Trump to bring in the National Guard and fix it. Like, it'd be the worst thing Trump could do, because that'll be painted as like, oh, the right wing takeover is happening. And
exactly.
But
see, that's probably the only reason why he hasn't done it yet.
Citizens, Democrats in Chicago are begging Trump to come in and save their citizens. It's fucking crazy.
That's why. That's why the old media needs to die out. The future, ironically, is going to be on YouTube.
Dude, I was talking to one of my leftist buddies about this. He's like, always posting shit about NPR, and I'm like, dude, you need to get your head out of NPR's ass. Like,
yeah, seriously.
Like really, like go out and like think for yourself. He's like, well, what are some sources you recommend? And I'm like, dude, see, that's the whole problem. There's no source that's going to be reliable. You just have to go out there.
You are the source. Yeah, you look at the information and you make up your own fucking mind.
Exactly. Like the problem is in the question. Like, you can't ask me what source is reliable, because the answer is none of them are. You have to go out there and see all the news stories and decide for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. You see the action. You see what happens. Look at how many people. Look, there's so much shit being recorded every single day.
Yep. Yep. And it's great.
And put to YouTube.
But you have to look at it with the right mind.
That is media. That is media. Media isn't these big corporations that hire pretty looking people to tell you what's up. Media is people who are out there just using their voices and telling you what's up. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, there's no one source. If there's one source, you're probably being lied to or manipulated somehow. If there's one source, if you have to look at the big picture no matter what it is,
then you're doing it wrong. Like, even a broken clock is right twice a day. And there's a reason why that cliche is so true, because even someone full of shit can eventually say something that will make sense. And you need to, and it needs to be like a salad bar. You take what you want and you leave the rest.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah, I don't agree 100% with every single person that I watch, like their walkaway video or like, just their conservative political opinion video. Like I don't 100% agree with maybe even any of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's people that I really like and respect, like Ben Shapiro, and every now and then he says something, and I'm like, "Fuck, dude, you just made me hate you." But it doesn't matter. Whatever. And then I have to remember, it's not about the cult of personality. It's about ideas. We take ideas for what they are and judge them on their merits. It's not about who's saying it. It's about the idea itself.
Whoa, dude, that's actually something that Kanye goes on to say in that Jimmy Kimmel interview, because you only saw like the first 2/3 basically, but there's another third of that whole interview where he goes on to say basically that exact same thing, man. And I think, like, dude, after today, like last night, I guess, I think is when it aired, like, I think a lot of people are going to reconsider where we're at as a nation. I think a lot of people are going to be like, wait, maybe I've been a little irrational,
Yeah.
you know, because when Kanye West talks so much sense, we're talking the guy who's been universally hated. Like when I lived with you, you never liked him really. You know what I mean? And like you know that he's been like a brother to me basically.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like
you
that's
kind
the
of
way
red
I've
pilled me
kind of
on
voiced it.
Kanye a bit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've come around.
Well,
You know, I'll never be a fan
he's
of his
gone
music
around.
just because I don't like that style of music. But
Sure.
I think he's got his fucking shit together in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. Bro, he's got a business. He's got a wife. He's got 2 kids. Like he looks happy all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and he's put out so much high quality music recently. Like he put out 5 records basically, but there were 5 like 7-track records each. And he only rapped on like, well, he rapped on each one of them, but only 2 of them he rapped on every track because only 2 of them were like official, like Kanye or Kanye and Kid Cudi records. And every song is beautiful. It's like otherworldly. You know, it's not like rap music some of the time. You know what I mean? It's like a different level. And that's one of the things he talked about. He talked about going. The reason why he went to Wyoming was because he kind of just wanted to be somewhere peaceful and like tap into like that 14-year-old in him, you know, that kid that like first discovered like his passion for music and things that made him feel like
I totally get
music,
that, man. Like city
you know.
life fucking does great on you after a while.
Yeah, it's a little debilitating, isn't it?
It is. Sometimes you just need to get away and breathe. You know, like,
I'm
and
saying.
yeah, I totally feel it. I completely get it. Like when I was younger, all I wanted to do was go to the big city and be around the flashing lights and the colors and the excitement.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now I'm just like, dude, I just want to fucking have a cabin by the lake and be left alone. And as long as I have Wi-Fi and maybe a nice wife, I'll be happy.
And like a
You know?
and like a 30-minute Uber ride from all that crazy city shit.
Yeah, go get your groceries, you know, and come back and call it good.
Yeah.
Maybe go in
Bro,
and
like
have happy hour once in a while, but yeah, yeah.
that's what I mean, bro. Like I'm probably the type of motherfucker, like I don't know. I hope California goes through a serious fundamental change because I do want to live in outside of LA at some point in my life. Like I want to live in LA proper, like ideally through my early 30s, you know, because that's when I'll probably be working on like bigger gigs and getting like super dope. And like maybe eventually I'll cure this fucking cold sore problem that I have that keeps me from being an actor because like, bro, come on, I've got the fucking personality for it. Like,
Oh, dude,
let's just do it. You
if I
know,
was still
even if it's
directing, I would totally
a character actor thing.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Bro, fucking David Lynch had a special eye for me. You know what I mean? Like I can't tell you like what he was thinking, but he was thinking something. There was a reason why he put me on his palette. You know what I mean? Like I was on I got to ride David Lynch's Eraserhead.
Oh my god. You heard it here first. Is this a Me Too moment?
Bro, no, God, no. It's just a really funny joke. It was just a callback. I made a joke earlier on Reddit about David Lynch and his Eraserhead. And I just thought it was really funny. I hope like Lynch geeks and film geeks and stuff can appreciate that, especially gay Lynch freaks and gay Lynch geeks.
Yeah.
Because apparently I'm basically gay bait. Did you know that?
Oh, I think everybody knows that.
I'm basically like I wear tight shirts and like they're like pink and shit. Like okay, yep, I get it. I'm totally gay bait. But like girls like me a lot too, though. You know what I mean? So
Well,
you know.
I mean, we all know gay guys are sluts, so you know, don't let it get to your head.
That's true. That's true. I should. Yeah.
All respect to my gay brothers.
But it is exciting.
Let's be honest.
It is exciting. Yeah. I know.
I'd be a slut
like,
too if chicks were like guys when it came to sex. Yeah, why not? But anyway, I never did
like gay guys. Well, you know, most guys in general, I think, probably are predisposed to have sex. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what we're genetically predisposed to do. Is you know,
we have
seed. That's
girls have 2 boobs. We have 2 brains.
It's through a civilization that we've been able to curb that and make it work for us instead of creating a bunch of kids we're not taking care of. You know, but that's a whole another issue. You know,
Well, that's only because of like the world economy that we have created. But you know what? That's what we live in. Like we have, like okay. I think honestly, the fucked up thing is, as much as I hate socialism, I think ideally the human race is probably best suited for like a socialist type of society. And that's a soundbite that
I think I get what you mean.
CNN if I was relevant.
There's some elaboration though.
Yeah. So take for instance, all right. So I don't think I ever read the book, but H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. There was a movie, and I remember watching it in like high school or junior high.
The Guy Pearce movie?
Fuck no. Not fucking Guy Pearce. No, I'm talking like 70s, 60s.
Oh, okay.
You know, yeah.
The Guy Pearce movie wasn't bad, by the way.
Oh, really? I mean, I love Guy Pearce. I'm sorry. I didn't want that to sound like, I thought negatively of
Memento.
Guy. I love
Lifetime Pass.
Memento. I mean, come on. Yeah, I'm not actually too keen on Chris Nolan. I'm not the biggest Chris Nolan fan. I think he's highly overrated. I hope I don't get crucified for that. I think he's highly overrated.
I like
Chris. Well, of course you agree, James. Listen, James, if I wanted somebody, okay, listen, if I was in a life and death situation and the person that was going to kill me is like, I need you to find me somebody to say, fuck this guy. I'll be like, I know, just the guy. I'll give you a call and I'll be like, James, what do you think of this guy? And you'll be like, oh, fuck that guy. And you'll save my life.
Every time.
It's actually happened before.
I'm glad to help. I live to serve.
Yeah, you live to stir the pot. I know. But I mean, I probably, if that's really ridiculous, but almost kind of somewhat plausible situation were to actually happen, you would be the one I would call. Absolutely, without hesitation or doubt in my mind. I would be like, what you. So you hate this random person that I'm not. Whose name I don't know. Like I'd call you and be like, James, what do you think of fuck. Well, for now I'm stuck on a J name because I'm a bad actor. Well, no, I just have a lot of.
Spit it out, man.
Malcolm Whitmore.
Who? Oh, I mean,
Malcolm Whitmore. Who?
Fuck that guy. Is that what I'm supposed to say? All right, good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I just saved your life.
See what I'm saying?
I know.
It's like it almost came to you firsthand. If you didn't have to be clued into it, I guess we're both bad actors.
Look, well, I get what you're saying, but here's the thing.
Goodbye, any two people who are actually watching this live. Now that you see that we're both bad actors,
it's an easy trap to say someone who's ultra critical of everything, like I am, that I hate everything, that I enjoy hating things, that I look for things.
No, that's not why it's an easy trap. It's an easy trap because it's something that you have self-proclaimed. To an extent. Like
you're wrong.
You've been tongue in cheek about it. You've been tongue in cheek. I wouldn't say you proclaimed it, but you've definitely been tongue in cheek about it in a favorable way.
Well, here's
almost
thing,
like a badge of honor.
It's not a place of hatred that I operate from. It's from a place of extreme passion and love. Like I know how good movies and storytelling can be when it's done right. And when it's done right, it affects me in a very intimate and powerful way. And I hate to see potential wasted so much. It kills my soul because like when I see things that like J.J. Abrams, when I see the potential of what he can create, I'm like, oh my God, like it would be the opportunity of a lifetime for me to be able to, take over a franchise. I don't care what franchise it is. Put me in charge of like, we're going to do the next
fucking Ninja Turtles,
Rainbow Bright. We're gonna bring back Rainbow Bright, and we're gonna put you in charge, James. You know what I would do? I would immerse myself in a Rainbow Bright universe. I would learn everything about the world that Rainbow Bright lives in, and try to pay respect to that, and really immerse myself into that world, and try to create something that is satisfying. Because that's exciting as a storyteller to me. Like it's cool to just. Like here's this thing that's established. You take it to the next level. Like, oh yes, let me immerse myself in that, understand it, and then bring it forward in a way that is a tribute and honor to what came before. But modern day storytellers don't do that. They're like handed these franchise and they're like, cool, fuck the past. I'm going to tell the story I want with these characters everyone loves. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Right. Yeah, the audacity of actually putting in the line "kill the past" or "let the past die, kill it if you have to."
Let the past die, kill it if you have to. Yeah.
The audacity of putting that line into the script, I think, is alone enough of a reason as to why I think Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers and Rian Johnson should have a real bare knuckle fist fight.
Oh man, that would make so much money. That would be the pay-per-view to end all pay-per-views. They would just pack up and leave after that. They made so much money, they'd be like, nope.
Well, no, it would. You know what it would be? It would be the new esports, is what it would be.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
I would be esports in real life.
If Rian Johnson did something like that, I would totally have so much respect for him. I'm like, cool, man. Because I'll tell you, that's what
that one famous rapper want to fight. Who? Louis Ball? Louis Ball? What?
Yeah, Uwe Ball. Yeah.
Uwe Ball. I was thinking of Louis, like that goofy-faced fat comedian who, like, more recently played
Louis Anderson,
like a transgender. Louis Anderson. Yeah, he's kind of big in the '90s and maybe early 2000s.
Yeah, he's been a thing for a while. He's always been on the peripheral. I never watched anything he did or really cared about anything he did. I have no opinion on him. I don't know if he's funny or not, to be honest.
He's like a borderline that guy actor at this point, but he's like he's iconic in the way that, like, he might as well have died in 1997 or 9 or whatever after he did all those big works.
The guy's like 400.
But he's still alive. Crazy. It was like Rick Moranis. I mean, because he was a proud, devoted father, so God bless him for doing that. I mean, that's great. But, you know, like, if we don't ever see another Rick Moranis film, you know, I mean...
Well, Rick Moranis, he's pretty firm about that. You know, he's doing good. He's got his family. They're doing fine. He's never going back to Hollywood, and God bless him for that.
Wait, no, didn't he say he's coming back to do a sequel or something like that?
What?
Sure I heard something. Really? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard something like that. Mm-hmm. Right now, I really sound like Bobby Moynihan's SNL character. No, I mean, like, what's his name? The guy that, like, heard secondhand news, the secondhand news guy. I'm pretty sure, James.
Let's see if anything comes up.
It's really not that important.
Whoa,
what about that new Predator movie
special?
Wait, what?
What? I'm going to share this with you.
All right, please do. Because what?
All right, so Netflix is doing
SCTV.
Holy shit.
Directed by Martin Scorsese. Hey, what's the date?
Shit.
What's the date on this article? What's the date on the article? Before you get freaked out, what's the date on the article?
May 10th.
May 10th, and it's /film. It's not going to happen.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the way things go. There's always talks, you know, quote unquote. Things are in discussion and development or whatever.
It's the new Ghostbusters 3. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to come back. I don't think he's going to come back. I mean,
I think he would come back. Okay, listen, I would, if I were Rick Moranis, I would come back after this Star Wars trilogy has wrapped up to do a God-to-honest fucking sequel to Spaceballs.
Dude, that would be amazing. Like, Mel Brooks is still around.
But only if Mel Brooks is still alive. Yeah.
Yeah. He could totally write a parody on the sequel trilogy that would fucking blow everyone's balls out. Like, it would be so fucking hilarious.
And it would be exactly what we need, right? That classic kind of like non-PC Jewish sense of humor. You know, like, I think that's exactly what we need. Maybe even Adam Sandler could make a fucking comeback.
Our hashtag campaign to get
Make Jews funny again.
Rick Moranis to save Star Wars. Like, or not save Star Wars, but heal our wounds from Star Wars.
Our wounds from Star Wars. Yeah, that's really what it is. And also to hashtag Make Jews funny again. Because,
my God.
why are we all so... I said it.
Yeah.
I said it on live.
You know what's great
make
about
Jews
that
funny again?
hashtag?
Because
Mel
listen,
Brooks would fucking love that. Mel Brooks would love that fucking hashtag.
Make Jews funny again. Ben Stiller would probably love it too. I bet Ben Stiller probably loves Donald Trump. I kind of get the feeling he would. I kind of get the feeling he'd be like, this fucking guy. You know, like he read some of his tweets and dude, Ben Stiller's gone like full indie, bro. Like when we were talking about Netflix movies, bro, Ben Stiller was in a Netflix movie by indie darling, what's his name? Noah Baumbach, right? You know who Noah Baumbach is?
No, never heard.
No, of course. Yeah, you ever heard of the movie Squid and the Whale?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, Catherine Keener, I'm pretty sure was in that movie along with Jeff Daniels. Eisenberger is one of his first.
Yeah, interesting. Because it's funny because I've
like anything of you.
I did an acting gig with Josh Hartnett when he was still a thing in a movie called Mozart and the Whale, and a lot of people thought Squid and the Whale was the movie that I was in, and it wasn't. So that's how Squid and the Whale.
That's so funny. It's like this thing, yeah. It's like this, kind of almost annoying bug, right? Someone's like, "Wait, like the movie with," and you know, it was the Kutcher, you know, the guy who played Steve Jobs. We don't talk about that because it wasn't very good, and Michael Fassbender did a much better job, even though he doesn't look as much or act as much like him.
Oh yeah, there were like 2 exactly the same Steve Jobs movies that came out like within a year of each other. I remember that.
Well, they were pretty different. I mean, okay, I haven't seen the Ashton Kutcher film, but I have seen the Aaron Sorkin and who is it? Danny Boyle. I think Danny Boyle directed the Steve Jobs movie, and it was fucking fantastic, bro. Like, oh, I loved it. I
generally like Danny Boyle. He's a good director. Hey, I got to drain the dragon real quick. Be right back.
All right, get that dragon drained then. I'll return to the audience with a little bit of a commercial break. I don't got no music to play, but this is the kind of voice that I would imagine somebody would say, Barry Manilow and Lando Calrissian. Oh, yeah, we tuning in to late night vibes. We got that happy-go-lucky, good for magic jazz shit that you ain't never gonna get nowhere else. I promise you that. A little too much on the "you." That last line was pretty corny. Kind of derailed that. James, it sounds like you're done draining the dragon. Nope. All right, so it's still commercial time, and this commercial here is sponsored by. Now he's back. The kid is back. Oh, nope.
That was good.
I hear laughter. I
appreciate that.
And coughing.
That's good. I appreciate you making sure our audience is entertained while I was taking a leak.
Well, I mean,
speaking of taking a piss, I was thinking about The Force Awakens, and I never did get to my point about that movie.
Excellent transition. Go ahead.
I remember seeing it with my buddy at the time, and we were talking about it afterward. And he really liked.
Wait, at the time you remember seeing it, or at the time this was your buddy, or at the time you're?
Yeah, we're not friends anymore. That's a long story, but has nothing to do with Star Wars.
But this was not your first. Was this?
Anyway, so we went and saw it.
Your first time seeing it?
We were, yeah, it was both of our first time seeing it. None of us had seen any spoilers or anything. We both went in cold, and we were both super excited. Like we were just like, let's do this. Because even at the time,
buttholes gaping.
Abrams, I thought, you know what? He's a legit Star Wars fan. I thought at the time, and so therefore he's going to put forth the extra effort that he didn't give Star Trek, because he admitted not being a Star Trek fan, and it was
basically his warm up for Star Wars.
So maybe he's going to do something great. So I was optimistic. When I left that movie, my buddy was super excited, and I was just like kind of scratching my head. And he's like, "Why didn't you like it? It was super fun." And I'm like, "Well, the biggest problem
I've seen it before.
Well, it wasn't even that. The first thing I thought of was, we are never going to see a reunion of Han, Luke, and Leia now.
That's really exactly. You know what? And I'm so happy to hear you say that, because I know that you are a diehard Star Trek fan, and if it actually came to a fight to the death with somebody, you would fight to the death over Captain Kirk, over Luke Skywalker, or any of them Skywalker boys.
If it had to come to that, yes.
Is my personal.
But I always had a respect for Luke Skywalker and his journey, and the story of Star Wars. My bitterness towards Star Wars kind of just comes from a shitty place where Star Wars was the popular kid, Star Trek was the nerdy kid. Everyone liked Star Wars, and I always got made fun of for liking Star Trek. And so it comes from a very, stupid emotional place. But overall, I like.
That's why it further shocks me. That's why it further shocks me that you don't like Stranger Things. I feel like you would have been able to feel so much of the thrill that show invoked, and recognize it as like a genuine kind of love letter to the blockbusters that came before.
I think that's probably the difference. I felt like it was manipulative. I didn't feel like Stranger Things was genuine. Maybe it did to others, maybe it did to you, and that's perfectly legit. But you know what I felt was a genuine love letter to the 80s? Turbo Kid.
Oh, Turbo Kid! I was about to say Kung Fury, but I still haven't seen Turbo Kid, but I should. But Kung Fury, yeah, absolutely. And dude, isn't Michael Fassbender like attached to like a feature length Hollywood motherfucking ass Kung Fury movie? Like, what is happening? Dude, no, for real. This is real news. This is real news that I heard.
What,
dude? Oh man, there's so many more like dope and positive things we could be talking about as far as the film industry. Oh yeah. No, I heard about it. I don't know if it's like the kind of gum that sticks, but it's pretty chewy, don't you think?
Yeah.
Damn, that was good too. I just made that up off the top of my fucking head.
I don't know if Kung Fury will work in a movie format. What I would like to see is
we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Kung Fury is awesome because it doesn't overstay.
Don't I sound like such a fucking producer? We'll make it work.
But I mean, you got to understand, like Kung Fury is like it hits you right and left with fucking laughter and craziness. And
exactly. That's but awesome. The thing is,
you can't do that for 2 hours. You'll burn out.
Yes, you can if you pad it out and develop it a little bit deeper. Like it's not okay. It works
then you
pretty
have to
well
incorporate slow moments and deep introspective moments and stuff like that.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about slowing it down. I'm talking about getting more in depth with the actual world and doing a little bit of world building. Like I think that would be exciting. Like make it like. Okay, did you see Thor Ragnarok?
No, I haven't.
You should watch Thor Ragnarok, and then you'll understand what I mean when I say that the director of Thor Ragnarok should do that movie.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
for real,
it's like a fun movie. I just I've been so burned on Marvel shit. Like I just don't care.
Oh, me too. I mean,
it's not even Marvel shit. It's CGI. I'm done with CGI. I don't care anymore.
Mm-hmm.
When I see
I want that CGI, magic back. I want that practical effect magic back.
Huh?
I want that practical effect magic back. You know what I mean? Like that to me is what makes like film exciting. It's what makes movies exciting. It's what makes shit pop off the screen in a way that like a computer rendering of something never ever will. That's
and I agree with you, but I'm going to take it one step further. Like you need to get back to old school storytelling at the same time. Like look at the Thing.
Well, be careful when you say that. Be careful when you say that, because that's entirely what Rian Johnson's excuse would be. Because his all of his influences were like Kurosawa and like old bomber movies and World War II movies and stuff.
That's bullshit. That's what he said to fucking cover himself, but that's a lie. Like if you look at
Well, no,
Kurosawa,
no, no, no.
if you
I
look
don't
at
think it's a
Kurosawa,
lie.
that is
I
not
think it's genuine. He just doesn't actually interpret those movies the way that a fucking artist would interpret
okay.
them.
Either it's a
He
lie
sees
or
it as like,
it's
oh, here's this director that influenced the original, and he's known as like this big kind of top deal director. So let me kind of jump into this. Like he'll take ideas from other directors. He's almost kind of like J.J. Abrams in that way. But J.J. Abrams, I think, like is at least more like in tune with the meaning behind what these people do. And Rian Johnson wants to do this kind of like Lynchian ambiguity that doesn't work at all with the really simplistic story. Like, let's face it, the actual story of The Last Jedi is so much shorter and more simple than Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, or any of the prequel films for that matter. You know what I mean? Like, say what you will about the prequel films, but like the actual
yeah.
story.
Okay, let's
But
play
for
a game
some
real quick.
reason, the runtime is
Let's
the
play a
longest
game.
of any Star Wars film.
You
How
you
did that happen?
you are Rian Johnson, and you're
Oh
gonna
no,
give your
no, I
elevator
can't.
pitch to Kathleen
Oh,
Kennedy for The Last Jedi. What is it?
listen, I can't tell you if I'm Rian Johnson because I can tell you the way. You know what I would want for The Last Jedi?
What?
Luke trains Rey. She finds out she's a Kenobi. She fights Kylo. Kylo tries to convert her. Kylo almost dies, but Rey loses a hand. The same hand that we saw in that first trailer. Which is what I thought that whole thing was alluding to. It would have been so beautiful and so poetic. You know what I mean? Like if we actually made the second installment of this franchise something special, instead of just like some weird fucking standalone trilogy in one film, like
Mhm.
it, like so much happened, but nothing happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So if they had done the whole Rey actually joins Kylo and they decide to end all the fighting, that actually would have been a really neat
Beautiful.
thing to see. That would have
Well,
been
I
like,
think that's how the series is going to end. Have I told you my theory for what the next episode is going to be, or what I personally would want it to be?
well, you know the rumors about Episode 9 right now, right? Like they're gonna split it into two parts
They better
because
fucking
J.J.
not. If they
Abrams
do
can't
that,
finish
it's
anything.
over.
They're basically gonna reboot everything in the third movie of a trilogy and
No,
make it two
no,
parts.
that's just a rumor. What's going to happen? They're going to bring George in. George is going to wrap it up with
Oh yeah,
with like
that's already a
one
rumor too.
phrase. Well, JJ has publicly talked about wanting that to happen, and it should. It should. At this point, you want this to feel like Star Wars? Let George have the final word on the last film. Period. Let George have the final word on the
Like
last
George has
film.
some weird ideas though.
Yep, but you know what? That's what we need right now. You want to make
Well,
Star Wars
I guess
great
weird
again?
ideas are better than no ideas, so I kind of agree with you.
That's what I'm saying. Because Rian Johnson didn't really have any ideas either. He just had a political agenda, and you know, he loved the taste of Kathleen Kennedy's toes. You know, that's it. That's it. He
Yeah.
is not an artist. You know what I mean? He's a fraud. He can see and understand what great art is, but when he watches and takes great art in, it means nothing to his soul because he doesn't have one. And I hate to perpetuate the stereotype that redheads don't have souls, but bro, Rian Johnson does not have a soul. He is just a fucking corporate.
You know, I never thought of this before, but he is ginger. Oh my god, that explains so much.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to put it that way. You know what I mean? But like, I think he's just a humble suck any dick, eat any to be in the headlines and to be Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson, yeah, they got.
Well, and also, have you heard about how they're handling Princess Leia in the ninth movie? And this is something J.J. Abrams has actually confirmed.
I did Looper. Hold on, quick pause. I know.
What's wrong?
And Johnson. I know. I'm sorry. Wait. I've returned. Mom. This is my life. Isn't there a Bon Jovi song called "This Is My Life"? Hello.
Hello. All right. So, are you ready?
Ready for what?
You ready to hear about how they're handling Princess Leia in Episode 9?
Well, I mean, I know kind of like the gist of it. You know, there was footage that in Force Awakens that I think could be repurposed in a different context for this new.
Yeah. So, what does that tell you about the integrity of the script?
Hey,
It's going to be
the same thing that I knew. Well, of course it was going to be a patchwork because they were treating it like a baton race. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not the way you handle a franchise like this. You know, it's just not the right way to do it. Yep. It's just, you know,
be shoehorned in garbage. Like, yeah. I can't imagine it.
Well, I mean, listen. Okay, listen. As a tried and true. What's the saying? I don't even know.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, that thing. You know, like Kanye said earlier in his interview, like I'm not gonna get caught up in specifics. You know, like about like what Galileo thought or whatever. Like, know the meaning of it. I don't need to tell you the definition. Like, you know what I mean? There's so many fucking things that we have to like memorize and know and learn in our everyday life. Like our plate just continues to grow and to grow and to grow and to grow and to grow. And so we have to focus on like what we think is the most important, you know, information that we should be taking in. So that's why like lately I've been a lot more focused on like what, you know, content like I bring into my life. You know, like I want things that are going to enlighten me or to enrich me or to, you know, make me somehow more fulfilled while I'm here on this earth, because like I'm using like an electronic medium that's like kind of connect, really not, because it's a one-way kind of a connection, you know. What the fuck, Dax, where are you, buddy? Jesus Christ, why did this whole fucking like wrench into my patchwork right now? Hey, come on, Dax, what the fuck? Come on, let's get back inside. You know, dogs. It's an old dog too. He's just like, fuck it, I don't care. Got no ornery. Ornery. It's a great word, isn't it?
He just wants to go play. You don't walk him enough.
Well, that too, but he's been
Was that victim blaming?
Was that victim blaming?
So I'm curious.
I don't know.
Michael Fassbender in Kung Fury sequel thing. So is he gonna like? I hope he doesn't play Kung Fury. He's got to play another character, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know, right? Like, I feel like the character has to be the guy. You know, like he's kind of the guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the creator and everything. You know, I mean, it would be like you're not playing the voice of Solid Snake or something like that.
You can't do that. Like, there's only one Rocky.
Damn it. Mine was better, but you talked over me.
Oh, what was yours? Sorry.
I said it would be almost like David Hayter not playing the voice of Snake.
Oh, well, that's already happened though. They got Kiefer Sutherland in there.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's a sick burn. That's why it's like a commentary type of.
Okay.
You know,
Kojima.
But you know what? To be completely honest, I think Kojima actually kind of did the right thing. It worked a lot better for the way that game flowed, you know. But it did. I mean,
I don't know, man. Listen. I don't like recasting unless the actor is dead. Like I don't really. I mean, unless there's a really big problem with it. I don't like recasting characters. I just, for some reason, it just really gets to me.
It was the tone. It was the tone of the game entirely. Because, I mean, I know you didn't grow up on Metal Gear the way that I grew up on Metal Gear. You know what I mean? Like, like the original Metal Gear Solid was the first like M-rated game that I was like, oh, dude, this is dope. I gotta play this. And like, I remember playing the demo over and over and over and over and over. And then finally, like my neighbor, you know, from down the street, like had the game, and I got to borrow it for a little while. But then my parents saw it and they're like, "Oh, it's rated M. You can't play this." I'm like, "No, Snake, Snake," you know. And so eventually, you know, borrowed the entire like trilogy from a friend, and I played through Metal Gear Solid 1 through 3, and then I played 4. And by the end of 4, I was fucking in tears. I was crying, bro. Like
Well, I get it. I mean, it's
it's
an investment.
heavy. It's an investment. And then when you do it for literally like 3 to 4 months of your life, like straight, like all 4 games, like I would just play them like, you know, after work every other few days or so, every couple of days or so, you know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
dude. Like I get it. Like I cannot watch The Wrath of Khan and see Spock's death scene and not cry to this day, even though I've seen that
right.
movie probably 1,000 times.
A million times.
I
Right.
always cry at that scene. It always gets me because I have that history of growing up, you know, watching
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek, and these characters are very personal to me, and
Right.
I know them very well. I know them inside
Exactly.
and out. I was looking up, you know,
They
supplemental
feel
material
like
as,
family.
you know, as a preteen, you
They
know, like
feel like family.
yeah, exactly. Like it was super like, and so and that's why I say like watching movies
See,
is very personal
that's why
because
James.
I watched Wrath of Khan with a buddy of mine a couple weeks ago, and he enjoyed it. He liked it, and just when the scene where Spock is dying and I'm like starting to tear up, he turns to me. He's like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, did you see the blah 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 blah?" And I'm like, "Dude, we're in the middle of
Are
a
you
fucking
kidding
death
me?
scene. Don't talk to me
Right.
about random shit." You know, like
Exactly.
you know. And so like it
Well,
wasn't.
well,
It
you know
didn't.
what? You know what that's a sign of? It's somebody
What?
who doesn't know how to handle emotions, so they project some other kind of idea so that you know they can focus on something else entirely. Like that's the reason why that person said that thing that they said.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
know,
so
maybe
you
so.
shouldn't be upset with them. Like it's gonna bump you out because you're like, dude, why are you not into this? But you got to understand,
Well,
like,
yeah,
it's
overall, like
because they didn't know how to handle it. You
yes,
know,
that well, and that may be part of it, but I think overall, it like even
that's
though
not
it
just
annoyed
part of it.
me
I think it's the
in the
whole
moment,
thing.
it
Of
annoyed me in the moment. Later on, when I thought about it, I'm like,
course.
why would he be as emotionally invested as I am? You know, like it's not his responsibility to feel what I feel. You know, like sure he
I'm
enjoyed the
sure
movie, he
there's a
liked it, but it's
logic.
not gonna, you know, like and so you know. That's why I say like movies are a very personal experience. Some things are going to touch you, and some things are not going to touch you, and it's very you know, selective, you know, and that's the way art should be.
No, yes, but no, because that scene is
Objectively wonderful.
clearly psych. You know, well, that too. But it's something that clearly evokes strong emotion. You know what I mean? Like it's you know that these two people are friends, but they've butted heads. But you know now one of them is dying, and it's like you know like you anybody who's actually paying attention to a story will understand that this is a significant moment that you do not interrupt. Like, bro,
Right? Yeah.
like imagine somebody like Darth Vader just cut off Luke's hand,
Mm-hmm.
and someone's like, "Bro, do you want to like order some like pizza or something? Because like I've been really kind of craving pizza lately, and like I
Oh,
really
dude,
just
I
think
know.
that it's
Like,
like,
shut
dude,
the fuck
like
up. I'm trying to watch this.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Like, how are you doing this?
So yeah, no, I absolutely understand your frustration, but I think there's a difference between someone who's just like not paying attention, and then somebody who is like actively trying to put an idea out there to bring their own mind away from the dramatic thoughts that the current media is like trying to put onto them. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, like, first of all, like the actual news media projects enough fear every single day. You know what I mean? So like, why, when you watch something, why would you ever want to watch something that deals with anything upsetting or that is difficult? You know, like
Um,
that's why we watch things that are like wish fulfilling. You know, that's why there's so many different TV shows out there now. And they're all fucking dime a dozen. They're all called Trust and Lucky and Gumshoe And you know what I mean? Like it's all just like these Gumshoe would actually be a really cool TV show name. Actually, now that I think about it. But
Bring back the Western.
huh?
Bring back the Western. Why not? I think a talented filmmaker could do it.
Oh, it's happening. I'm sure it's happening. You know, and unfortunately, shitty movies like Bone Tomahawk, where
Oh God,
you appreciate the way I said that.
Movie, I still
No,
see
I remember
you
and I endured that together, and that's an experience. I mean, that's like I feel like we basically just got like remember Pulp Fiction, the scene with Ving Rhames and the guy in that big leather suit.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like we both just lived through that after we watched that movie
it's
together.
Funny because you and I have watched a lot of movies together, and we generally have, you know, conflicting opinions about things. Like we'll generally agree, but we'll like argue about whatever this or that,
yeah.
and we'll have
I like
degrees of how much we liked it, you know. But that is the one movie that we both came out of feeling the exact same way. Like it is notable for that. Like that is the one time you and I agreed on everything about that movie.
Well, I think I just because of my nature was a little bit more forgivable of it. Like I would probably be willing to put it on in the background at another point in my life this week. Maybe sometime after Red Dead Redemption.
The only reason to do that would be for
kind of a
fucking Kurt Russell's performance.
Kurt Russell.
There's nothing about that movie. Like
man, Kurt Russell's the man. By the way, how much do you know about the current Quentin Tarantino film that is being that is in the middle of production, that is filming right now?
You're not talking about the Star Trek movie.
No. That's still tabletop talk.
Okay. So what is it? What's Tarantino doing now?
He's doing a film with an all-star cast that I'm gonna have to look up. Actually, you know what? You're gonna have to look up because I'm just on my phone now here. I don't have my laptop.
All right,
so you're gonna have to look it up.
New Tarantino film.
Right, new Tarantino. Search Tarantino Manson film.
Manson.
Did you feel that tingle up your spine? You feel that tingle up your spine?
That's perfect subject matter for him,
isn't it? And yes. Guess who's playing Sharon Tate?
Margot Robbie.
Are you already on the cast list, or was that just a really good guess?
Yeah. Am I right?
It's Margot Robbie.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I am so good at this shit. Oh my God, you're right. All right, let me screenshot it. Dude, no, I promise I didn't cheat. Like that was just my first guess.
Really? There's like set photos and everything, bro. Like it's gonna be, I don't know. I'm excited. I haven't been this excited for a Tarantino film since *Inglourious Bastards*.
Oh.
And dude, you got to get over your fucking DiCaprio thing, bro.
Oh.
You got to get over your DiCaprio thing, bro. Did you even see Django?
Oh. No, I didn't.
Well.
Damn it. Why do they have to ruin everything?
See, no, you can't say that because you like The Great Gatsby.
That's true. You're right.
And
you're right.
You probably like The Great Gatsby more than I like The Great Gatsby, and I own it on Blu-ray, but I don't enjoy it as much as I thought I would.
I like The Great Gatsby in spite of DiCaprio, though. Like it was a good movie. It had nothing to do with him.
It has a lot. I mean,
like he did what he does, which is look good in a suit. Like that's all he does. He's a fucking puppet. Like he's not an actor.
That's where you're wrong because you didn't even see Shutter Island, did you?
Did you see fucking Romeo and Juliet?
That's actually one of his only movies I haven't seen. I haven't seen that.
He was
and I haven't
fucking
seen
terrible
The
in
Beach.
That. Like, he had no fucking clue what he was saying at any moment. It was like watching Macaulay Culkin act. It was awful.
Well, all right. So he's a fucking teen star that isn't Shakespeare material. Doesn't mean that, he couldn't become a great, intrinsic, genuine actor. I think he's put
also saw
so much.
His big claim to fame, and he didn't really do anything special in that either.
Well, Titanic was a big
anybody
claim
that
to
was
fame because it was a claim to
could have done that role. It wasn't challenging. There's nothing to it.
Yeah, but is that a reason to hate a man's entire career? I don't think so. I think I think you got it out for the guy, and I don't think it's fair because he has done so much great acting. And listen, man, I know acting. Like I've watched a lot of actors. I've read a lot of Stanislavski and Stella Adler, and you know what I mean. I've done classes, and you know what I mean. Like I appreciate a genuine method performance and a genuine emotional performance. To me, I think method is a dirty word. Don't think of it as method. Just think of it as genuine acting. That's the best way to look at it, and that's what I love. And
He doesn't
Leonardo
act.
DiCaprio,
He's genuinely
yes, he
Leonardo DiCaprio in every
does.
role. Like he's just himself.
No, bro. No, well, that's just the way
And
that
that's
you
fine.
choose
I
to
mean, Al
perceive
Pacino
it.
does that, and it works well for him. But don't pretend he's a good
Well,
actor. Al Pacino's not a good actor. He's good at being Al Pacino.
oh, Al Pacino's a terrific actor. He actually can do Shakespeare to a monumental level. I mean, he carries it with the strength of like Samuel L. Jackson, or like, you know what I mean? Like Pacino knows how to give those lines,
Oh, hey, speaking of
That's
Samuel
what
L.
makes him
Jackson,
so. Yeah, I
have you
think
ever
he's
seen
also
Coming
in
to
this.
America?
I have seen Coming to America, and I love it. What was he was in that movie?
He it's a short scene, but he comes in and he tries to rob McDowell's with a shotgun. And as
What
soon
is
as I saw
McDowell's
that, I'm
again?
like, holy shit, this is the prequel to Pulp Fiction.
No, it's the prequel to
Like Pulp Fiction
Goodfellas. Remember?
and Coming to America live in the same universe. I firmly believe this. I think that
Isn't
was
it
Jules when he was just a young street thug,
right?
just robbing fucking convenience stores and fast
Well,
food
no,
joints.
or look at it. Look at this. Roughly around the same year that Reservoir Dogs came out, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was the exact same year. I think they came out at the same time because they were both like competing, and that's how they first met. But Paul Thomas Anderson put out the movie Hard Eight. But I mean, that's only its official title, affectionately by the cast and crew and anybody involved in the production of it. It's known as Sydney, right? And that also featured a performance by a young, well, I mean, early 30s Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson is basically the Black Harrison Ford.
Huh.
Mic drop.
Yeah, he's been
Ain't that
around
the
for a
truth,
while.
though? Ain't that kind of the truth? Super bankable, like lovable Hollywood actor who's kind of got like a bad boy
Well,
reputation. You know what I mean?
he's just a genuinely cool guy. Like he
Mm-hmm.
worked and I think
He's super
came from the old
anti-PC. He
school.
just
Like he
speaks his
worked hard.
mind.
He did the
Mm-hmm.
shit parts forever, and finally he got his
Mm-hmm.
spotlight and didn't become a dick about
Mm-hmm.
it. Like
Yeah, he
he's
got
still a genuine
killed.
person.
He got killed in every big movie that came out in the early 90s, and then eventually became like a huge star. I mean, honestly, like hold on to your butts.
He didn't die in
Hold
Coming to
on to
America.
your butts. Well, I don't remember him in Coming to
No, he
America,
just
but
got beat up by
I
Eddie
mean,
Murphy
like,
with a broom handle or a
I mean,
mop
I mean,
handle.
like, he was in Goodfellas. He got killed, or Casino, one of the two. I think it was Goodfellas though. I think Goodfellas he got killed. And then in Sydney or Hard Eight, whatever you want to call it, he got killed. And then I'm pretty sure, like, wasn't he killed in some Tarantino film? Jackie Brown, maybe. Jackie Brown was what, 94 something? I don't know, but like, and Jurassic Park, of course, which was, I'm pretty sure, 94. He got killed, but he had that iconic line, "Hold on to your butts," right? Like, bro, he was such a legend. Like by 94 already, like not just like in my young mind because I'd seen him in Jurassic Park, but like in the eyes of anybody who gives a shit about like dope cult films. Samuel L. Jackson was like, "Oh, bro, yeah, yeah, I remember him. He got, he was that cool pimp that got killed in Goodfellas, or I don't even remember what the part was. I think it was a drug dealer or something like that, or maybe he helped rob a bank, for some Italians, something like that. Um, but now look at him. He's Nick Fury. He's, I'm sick and tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. He's Mace Windu. He's, like he's Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson. He's Arnold. You know what I mean? Like he's on that level, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. Well, and
Yeah,
he's done well
that
for
was
himself.
kind
He
of a
deserves it.
similar.
He's a good guy, and he's a talented
It's
actor.
great.
He found his
It's great.
niche. He made it work for him. Like, he earned a
Bro,
lot of respect for me when he stuck up for Snakes on a Plane. You know, like
oh,
as shit as
yeah.
that movie was, it really showed that he is a human. You know
He's
what
a
I mean?
human. He just wants to have fun doing
Mhm.
it. Just, you
Yeah,
know, and then
like
that's why I
even when
always
that
respected
fucking
him.
reporter, when that reporter confused him for
I always
fucking
respected
Lawrence
John for the same reason. Ooh, wasn't he great? Wasn't he
Remember
great?
that? Yeah, that was like,
Uh-huh.
and he just like he didn't get offended, but he
Like
wasn't
he
gonna let
no,
the
he
guy
didn't get
get away with
offended.
it. You
Yeah,
know?
he called him out. He called him out. He's like, nah, that ain't me.
He's like, no,
You know,
we
it was
don't
almost
all
like
look alike. You know, like
mhm,
he handled it like a boss because the guy was being an
he
idiot.
did. An
And
idiot.
but
Are you
he didn't get
kidding me?
angry and like
How you
start a
confused
protest.
him?
He just fucking made
Right.
fun of the guy. And
Exactly.
that's the right thing to do.
He wasn't a fucking snowflake about it. He wasn't a little fucking snowflake about it. He just called him out and said his piece. You know, and that's what we need to do. We can't like jump on all these fucking bandwagons and buzzwords. Like we just gotta like call people out on the things that like, you know, you're like, I don't think that is necessarily correct. And that is gonna be my opinion. And I'm going to tell you why I don't think that is necessarily correct. And I hope the things that I have to say influence your opinion on your own behavior, or at the very least, influence you to ask me some questions about what I feel about that. And maybe through our dialogue, through our genuine dialogue, we can learn something about each other. That's another thing that I love that what Kanye said in that interview when he talked about like meeting Sarah Jessica Parker at the bar. You know, where she said that like you and I can talk about the president in a dialogue, not a diatribe, which is ironic because at this point, I don't know how long the counter's been running, but I feel like I'm definitely within diatribe territory. But also in my defense, I am going up against James Quinn, the king of diatribes. So I'm just gonna have to, you know, plant my feet on the ground and stand firm, you know, and just keep rolling because I think that's the truth.
Well,
That is
don't you think
so much
it's
the
weird?
truth.
Don't you think it's weird that we live in a world where supporting your president will ostracize you and get you fired?
Absolutely.
Like, doesn't that kind of
But
speak
you
to
know
the
what?
truth of where we live right now?
But you know what? You know what? My life has spoken to that specific truth is that if you treat people as individuals and you respect them for their political opinion and you give them yours, if they, you know, like if, listen, show me yours, I'll show you mine. You know, like, well, let's hash it out. Let's talk about it. All right. Like, let's not be, you know, let's be frank. Let's not be
Well,
Bill.
doesn't that speak to the truth of the matter that, you know, when you individualize people and treat them like people, suddenly we all get along and we all get agree. It's only when we become tribal and put people in the category that like, oh,
and the
you're
only thing
group,
that makes us
therefore you're my
feel so
enemy.
tribal,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that makes us feel so tribal is that social media mentality, that kind of like herd mentality. You know what I
I like
mean?
to call it the Reddit mentality. You know, that
The Reddit mentality, yeah. Like
that cyber gang
one thing
rape
I
that
say,
happens,
one thing I say is
something.
I like to say I hate people from the internet. I'm not racist. I hate people from the internet because I hate internet culture. You know, coming up from places like 4chan and Reddit, and it's just hate.
You know,
and
here's the
hate
thing.
and evil.
4chan is not what people make it out to be. It's like,
it's
because
not what
I'm a
used to be
regular
either.
4chan browser. I never post. I just browse it. I read it. I like the TV board. I like nothing else. But I do browse the poll board and the news board sometimes. And you know, you get some really good.
This isn't a deposition. You don't have to give me that kind of tone, man. Come on.
Well, no, I'm
just the TV board and nothing else. Come on, man.
Well, no,
I can feel your pores coming through.
Really and there really isn't like, but I do think they have their value, and I think they matter, and I think they get a bad rap because 4chan is completely anonymous. That means anyone can say whatever they want, and it's completely off the cuff. And I think there's
So
something
naturally, it's going to lean a lot more towards troll culture and troll mentality. And
yeah, but you know
so
what? If you're a grown up, you can recognize the troll
the
comments
truth
and the shit posters
and find
from people that
the
actually
truth
have.
in it.
Well, yeah, you can recognize the shit posters from people that actually have information, you know, and there
Right.
are
Right.
like really smart people that post on 4chan. You know,
Mm.
sure you're gonna filter through fucking 10, 15 posts of like garbage, but you will find something that is like, holy shit, this is fucking great. I want to talk to this person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no like
Exactly.
messaging or anything like that. You can reply to posts, but it's all anonymous still at the same time. But you can get some really good fucking shit because people from all over the world go to 4chan. It's completely anonymous, and that's appealing to a lot of people because they can speak their mind. And
freely.
you never know. You never know who's on 4chan. It could be a celebrity. It could be a CEO. You know, they paint it out as this group of like.
I saw the thing where it was showing how Taylor Swift is on 4chan and she's like quietly like doing the thing, like she posts on there all the time.
Oh, that's
apparently.
definitely a meme that comes up a lot. And you know, and it's one of those things like you don't know.
That almost makes me like her. Like I almost like Taylor Swift now. That's how I've become so conservative that I almost like Taylor Swift.
But here's the thing, like 4chan is not 4chan is not right wing.
Kanye's my brother.
You get just as many SJWs as you get.
It's not, but it gets grouped.
Like
exactly, it's not, but it gets grouped in with that. You know what I mean? Like that's leftist ideology right there. Like they try to group everything into. Like I remember when the whole Charlottesville thing happened. This girl that like was basically, she might as well have been my girlfriend. Like we should have dated, but she ended up getting married to this fucking fat ass douchebag, shitty poet. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful girl with a beautiful heart, but like she's just been so brainwashed. And she came at me after the whole Charlottesville thing, and she's like, "Are you really still a Trump supporter after this?" I'm like, "What the fuck does this have anything to do with why I wanted Donald Trump to win the presidency?"
Well, tribalism. It's
exactly.
Like, you're the bad guy, therefore you support everything I hate.
Exactly. That's why when I came out conservative, etc., I came out the way I did. I said, hey, listen, I know a lot of you are going to want to block me or unfollow me or unfriend me or whatever, and that's fine. Go ahead, do that. But this is who I am. That was essentially my message. Like I don't know if you went back and checked through my Facebook and saw like my original like coming out statement, basically. But it happened ironically. Oh, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. This is juicy. This is gonna be juicy for you. It happened ironically after Ben. I was Facebook messaging him, and he basically said, "Oh yeah, these like two other guys just got hired like about a week ago." And my response was like, "Bro, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I've been waiting like tooth and nail every single day to find out about this job, to find out if I got this gig."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, really? And like two guys got hired a week ago, and you didn't say nothing to me, and like you think that's cool? Like, because he brought me into the whole thing in the first place. I thought he would have some kind of an investment in that, and would want to, like say at the very least, like, bro, like these two other guys were hired. I don't know if we're gonna hire more.
Here's what I know about the Seattle office. It's a super monoculture, and everybody is super tight and close friends with each other. And like I never talk to anybody in the Seattle office. I purposely go out of my way to do it because they're all exactly the same. They're like the Borg. And I think Ben probably, in good faith,
has become the Borg,
and then got sucked into the culture and decided, holy shit, I can't risk my position by recommending someone that's not going to fit into this culture.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think happened, because like I know he knew that I was a Trump supporter. We talked about it. Like we have talked about it many times. You know what I mean? And then when I brought it up to him, I'm like, dude, what's the deal with why you were so fucking sketchy about this gig? Like, is it because of the Trump thing? And he's like, dude, I didn't even know you were a Trump supporter. And that exactly was the moment when I realized that he had sold me down the river.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, this is some real personal shit, and we're on live, but you know what? Fuck it, it's my life.
Well,
And I don't
we
care.
haven't said anything specific. It's whatever. But yeah, let's get back to movies
we
and
didn't even give it
politics.
company names. Yeah, movies and politics. So yeah, Star Wars really sucks now, and I hope J.J. Abrams can save it. I have more faith than you do, but that's only because I think J.J. is gonna bring in George to help really like bring this whole vision together. But ultimately, just bring in George Filoni to keep Kathleen Kennedy as far away as possible. It should be George, JJ, and Filoni, and maybe Feige, like in a supervising kind of a role, you know.
Holy shit, you're dreaming now. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Can you imagine the feminist outcry? Holy shit! And Disney is well aware of that. They've spent the last 3 years appealing to feminists. If they suddenly turn on them by replacing a woman with a man, it's gonna fucking. I mean, Bob Iger's not stupid. He knows the hole they've dug himself in. He's not gonna fucking throw a piece of dynamite in that hole while they're stuck.
No, you're wrong, dude. No, this is the paradigm shift, bro. This is what it's all about. Because Bob Iger is going to realize, like, oh, fuck, the fans are right. This whole, like, weird liberal agenda is not going to fly. It's not going to be as financially sustainable as just paying attention to what the people actually want. I don't think Bob Iger is a fucking idiot. The man has already declared that he's considering running for presidency. All right. So any kind of move that he makes right now is going to be under a very critical eye as like, so this is a man who thinks that he can be president. What is he going to do with this monolithic, massive property that is under his thumb?
Yeah,
okay.
If
he has the balls,
then he has to fucking save Star Wars. Like
he's gonna have to save Star Wars, and that's why I think George Lucas is gonna be involved to the point where like he's making silly little fucking YouTube videos calling fans on FaceTime. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I think it's going to be heavily propagated that like, hey, we're really trying to return to the roots here. You know, we got George back. They might even fucking announce that Hayden Christensen is back before they even air the film, because like I'm almost positive at this point that he's going to get a cameo, or at the very least, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan will have a cameo. Like this is gonna have to be the big fan service film if they really want. Like they totally fucked it up because you know what, they blew balls to themselves into this corner.
Yeah,
for real. Yeah. They should have blown their load on the first movie and then made something fucking crazy for the second movie and then try to wrap it all up in the third movie. If they were gonna do that, I mean, I guess technically they kind of did, but like what was so crazy about, okay, Snoke is dead, okay, but there's so much more excitement that could have been put into The Last Jedi than what we saw. So much of it was useless and so much of it was counter fan, like what you were saying. It's like insulting.
Most of the movie was fuck you for caring. Like,
yeah, fuck you for gotcha. Oh, you thought Leia was dead? Well, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
you thought Luke was gonna grab this lightsaber and it was gonna be a big deal? Well, gotcha.
That's the thing. There's a relationship and a bond of trust between storyteller and the audience.
And the audience. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And when you constantly slap
that exact same reason is why what's his name is taking so long to write the last fucking Game of Thrones book or whatever. You know what I mean? For that exact same reason. Like he will literally like die before he finishes it, as long as he makes sure that it is as perfect as he can possibly make it in his own like words. Like that is artistry.
Yeah.
What they're doing with Star Wars right now is not artistry. It's corporate, string pulling. You know, it's a pastiche. It's a pastiche of corporate investments and what people want, and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I sound like I've smoked a lot of weed, and the thing is, it's funny because I've smoked a lot of weed, so
What? Oh my God! How 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 dare you, sir? I'm offended.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that just absolutely wild?
Wow. You sound like Owen Wilson right there for a second.
Dude, you know what? You're not the first person to say that. Like, I do kind of sometimes tap into like this weird kind of drawl that's like a little like Owen Wilson-esque, and like I get it, like I think it's just a part of my like sort of stoner-esque haphazard nature. Because on the same token, sometimes I can jump in like to a sort of like a hip hop drawl. So I don't really know. The truth is, hi, my name is Daniel Nikolajczyk. I'm 28 years old, and I have no idea who or what I really am. I just live life, and I do the best that I can every single day. And God bless you all.
Amen.
I really should be on the radio or have like a podcast or something like that. You know what I mean?
I think that was beautiful, man.
Wasn't it though? Wasn't it actually kind of beautiful and poetic? And like, I think people might like listen to it and be like, "Oh my God, wow!" I hope people feel that way. I hope the words that I say make people feel that way. Like I've always wanted, the way that I've pictured like the films that I want to make. Like I want to like make people fucking sob. You know what I mean? Like I want to rip your heart out of your chest with the visual and the music and the context, and your self-reflection in the situation. Like I want you to be fucking bawling as them credits roll. Like that was kind of like my initial, not my initial, but like it's definitely one of my big kind of motivational factors that goes into why I want to make film as art. Why I want to bring that into the world. I want to make people kind of bleed with their eyes and their souls when they watch something that I've made, that like fucking just cuts them in a way that nothing else has ever kind of cut them. Not even a real knife. Not even words from their father or their mother, or maybe it echoes things like that.
See, look, the way you're talking right now, that's how artists talk. You have an idea. You have something you want to say, and you have a story you want to tell. That is what fucking Hollywood
brother.
is
lacking right now.
Like there's no one that has any ideas. There's no one that has any passion.
Mm-hmm.
Like for them, it's just a job that their dad or cousin or uncle got them into because it's filled with nepotism. Like there's no.
It'll get you more Instagram followers.
Yeah, like if you look at the people that are starring in movies right now, they're all related to someone that was already famous.
Right.
There's
not all, but like, no, I get you. Like
Chris Pratt is probably the closest example you could come to, like someone that actually worked their way up. You know what I mean?
But he could be a Harrison Ford type. He could be a Harrison Ford type. Because I remember him. I met him when he was still just kind of like that goofy guy on that one TV show. I met him and his whole family.
Yeah.
Met his whole family when I worked on Top Chef. And like I saw and heard some really deep emotional things, and like, what I mean? Like it was like a fucking deep night for some reason for the Pratt family.
The point I was going to make is Chris Pratt.
He's a real
genuine good guy. And even though I hated Guardians of the Galaxy, I think he gave a wonderful performance in both of them. And he's a very likable person, and he's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why that is because he's not a Hollywood insider. He worked his way into the system. Like he's still
rooted in reality because of his Christianity. He's not one of these people who jumps up on a cloud and then all of a sudden thinks I am a god, which is so funny because I love Kanye West so much, and that's exactly what he does. But at the same time, Kanye West is also rooted in his Christianity. Kanye West is just a much more complicated figure. But Chris Pratt is a very proud Christian and Seahawks fan and conservative, and you know what I mean? Like that's why I'm kind of like weirdly mixed about him being so pro James. Like I get him being pro James Gunn because he's very forgiving and and You know, he said those things a long
He's pro
time ago.
He's not pro James Gunn. He's actually what he said was like look, he's my friend, but I don't know what to think about it. I should pray on it, and that was pretty much all he had to say on it. Like he hasn't come out pro or against.
But he did.
What? You're cutting out.
He did.
Hey, whatever you said the last 10 seconds, I didn't hear. So repeat it. You cut out.
He did co-sign the big cast statement, right?
Oh, he did? I didn't know that.
Yeah. You know, there was a big cast statement of everyone who said that he should get hired back by Disney, and his name was on that motherfucker like the Declaration of Independence. And you know what I mean? So I guess in his good Christian heart, he found like you know, a little bit of room for forgiveness for some of that shit that he said. But like, bro, I don't know, man. You look at the facts, you look at the pictures, you look at what he said, like you look at the fact that Hollywood is Hollywood, and like, there's something fishy going on there. It doesn't look good. Like, I get fake news. You know what I mean? It's really easy to make something not look good. Right,
dude. Yeah, me too, man. Like, I'm the first person to give the benefit of the doubt, but we all know about Hollywood, like, because we both have worked in the industry to even a small measure. Yeah. We've both been there. Well, we know how it is.
It's beyond even working in the industry. Like, yeah, I've worked in the industry and I've seen some repugnant shit, but like, you know, like I it was. I can't, you know.
Get it out, man. Oh, you cut out again.
Look, I get call out culture. Did you get that message? Am I still cutting out?
Yeah, I think your connection sucks.
Hold up.
Oh my god, I just heard some thunder. Oh my god, is it gonna rain here? Holy shit.
Okay, I just turned off Wi-Fi. It should be better now. Is it better now? James,
quit. Oh my god, I think it's gonna rain, dude.
Is it really?
I just heard some thunder. That's fucking awesome.
Wait, you just heard some thunder?
It's like healing. It heals my soul to hear thunder. I'm like, oh my god, please rain. Please rain.
I hope it does. For your sake, brother, I really hope it does. For your sanity's sake, seriously, I hope it does.
It's nice and cloudy. I appreciate that.
It's very cloudy here in Seattle, bro. That's crazy. We got pretty much the same weather. It's really windy right now. The trees are all, you know. It said there was supposed to be thunder. That'd be crazy if there was thunder in both of our places. That'd be very interesting. How much acid have you done in your life? Wait, you know what? We're live. Should we not answer that question since we're live?
Oh no, it's fine. I probably under 10 hits, all told. You know, I didn't do it a whole lot. Not like ecstasy. Like I did ecstasy.
Was it like a summertime thing? Like was it like a quick little phase where you're just
doing
like
acid is like it's like an event drug. You know, like if you're gonna do it right, you plan.
You gotta do it. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I feel.
You set up a situation to where like, okay, we're gonna do this, and we're not gonna deal with the outside world, and that's how it is. You know, like kind of thing. You know, and you're with people that you trust, and then you just hang out and watch cartoons and smoke and laugh, and it's fun. It's great. It's a good time.
Well, I mean beyond that,
like goes wrong is when you go out in public. Don't do that.
No, I'm so about to disagree with you because one of my most significant experiences, and I guess you might be right because it wasn't necessarily what I would consider to be a great time. Was when I went to the Sasquatch Music Festival in 2000 and something, right?
Okay, that can be an exception. You can do acid at like big outdoor parties and shit like that.
Yeah. So I mean, like seeing the music, you know.
But the thing is you don't want to go. Music. You don't want to go where normies are, where people are not drunk and high as you. You know what I mean? Like
that's
an
why
outdoor party like that, it's kind of expected that you're fucked up, so it's fine.
That's why I have to admit this because I hope that somebody who was there can hear this because I remember it so distinctly. The entire walk back from the main stage to our tent, our little area where we were all set up, I kept bawing, bawing like a sheep and laughing
You know what?
at
I just remembered. I just remembered
everybody
I got lit
around me.
in the forest uh, during an outdoor party doing acid.
James, you really derailed my whole. I mean, like that's great. I'm really glad for you. It's always a fantastic thing when you get laid out in nature. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a random
No,
hookup you never saw coming. It's always a good story.
you
But the
bring up
thing
these
is,
memories.
I was in on a whole like kind of like Lynchian, dark, mysterious sort of thing, and I was gonna, I was trying to get
Well, thank God I was here to pull you out of it.
well, we can't all be interesting, I guess.
You know, uh, acid. It's an event drug, though. You have to plan for it. You don't just do it and go out to a club. Like
No,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean you can.
You shouldn't though.
You shouldn't though. Like yeah. I mean, if you're gonna do it, if
It's
you're
not
gonna
like
do it right,
ecstasy. You can take ecstasy and go to a club, and you'll be
you
fine.
could, man, you could
You'll
take
be
a
the most
little tiny
popular
drop of
guy
ecstasy. You
there.
can go to fucking work on ecstasy. You know what I mean? Like I mean, well, no. It all really depends. I truly do believe I'm a firm believer in microdosing. I love the concept of microdosing, and I think it's excellent that it's become like so rampant in Silicon Valley. As a matter of fact, it kind of explains everything if you know what I mean. Um, and because I think Silicon Valley is spreading like a cancer. It's infecting my city, Seattle, which isn't really my city. It's kind of like I'm a suburb, whatever. I don't care. Seattle, it's home. All right. And now we're seeing this massive influx of all these big tech companies and this mentality that like yes, all of this leads to wealth and success and da da da. At the same time, we're a fucking sanctuary city, you know what I mean? Like, look at all the homeless people that we have living under bridges. And these aren't like illegal immigrants that are homeless,
Yeah.
you know? These are like American citizens. These are people who are born here and raised here. We're talking about black people. We're talking about Asian people. We're talking about, white veterans. We're talking, like every race. I mean, is being represented inaccurately because of the fact that our demographic is completely manipulated by this concept, this idea that there's this oppression going on. But the only real oppression is a financial oppression. You know what I mean? It's a class oppression. It's a class thing. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not
That's
about
what always pisses
race.
me off.
It's
Like
not
making it
about
a race
gender.
issue. Making it a
Yeah.
race issue
Or a
completely.
gender issue.
Yeah.
Those
Completely
are just
obscures
things that are put in place to further divide us from the actual point. And the actual point is that there is a system put in place. And it's not capitalism.
Nope. It isn't
It's
capitalism.
globalism. Globalism is the real fucking enemy.
Yep.
That's why socialism is not the answer. Socialism just leads to more globalism. You know what I mean? The real enemy is lack of genuine cultural diversity in the world. We need to just always be respectful of culture and history and art, and I mean that's why I can't believe people. You know how you can't trust somebody if that motherfucker tells you, "Oh, I don't see color." Fuck you. You're a racist if you don't see color. You know, you don't see color. You're a racist. What? Everyone's just the fucking same to you. Nobody's different. Nobody's special. Nobody's unique. Everyone's the same everywhere you go. You're not just racist. You're anti-human. That's the way. And here's some real shit. Here's some real shit I'll say on live. That's the way I feel about my father. I feel like my father just doesn't really care about anybody but himself. And like that's some real shit. Like it doesn't matter where he goes, what he does, like as long as his own personal wish fulfillment is satisfied.
Well, pretty much.
And he's not alone in that kind of a thinking, which is why I have to bring it up and why I have to be real about that, because I think that is such a modern sentiment. And he's an immigrant, you know what I mean? I'm the son of an immigrant. I am an immigrant, so this is the kind of mentality. It's almost like a Sopranos way, I think. You know, what I mean, it's almost like a Grand Theft Auto 4 kind of, you know, what I mean, it's like, oh, I've come to experience the American dream. I must experience it at its, you know, most glorified
Yeah.
type of way. So it creates this almost alternative vision of what it means to be an American, and I think it's totally wrong, ultimately.
You know, I'm gonna bring up something, and it's gonna seem irrelevant, but I want you to follow me for a second.
I will, absolutely.
Did you ever play Knights of the Old Republic games, the Star Wars games?
A little bit when we lived together, I played one of them. I think it was the very first one. I didn't get very far though. Yeah,
Well,
I didn't really get far. I didn't even leave the first planet or nothing. I think I fought in like some kind of tournament for a hut, you know. But like, very interesting world. And that's the kind of stuff that makes Star Wars exciting and interesting, and the EU and like, you know, honestly, they should have just fucking followed what the EU said.
yeah, no, I think we can all agree that yeah, those games really captured the essence of Star Wars and what people want from it.
Yeah.
The second game though is interesting because people have compared it to The Last Jedi, but done right. If you want to subvert and deconstruct the Star Wars universe, this is how you do it. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 did that amazingly well. There's this character in there who's like this old lady that you meet, and she obviously has force powers and stuff, and she kind of guides you through the things. She's kind of like your Obi-Wan, you know, as you're going through the adventure. But as
or your Maz Kanata, if Maz Kanata actually fucking meant something in The Last Jedi.
No. Fucking hate
what a
that.
wasted opportunity.
Right? It could have been a cool character, but nope, it's not.
Dude, there's so many. Okay, listen. Rose was written in specifically for a feminist agenda. Holdo was specifically written in because of a feminist agenda and because of the fact that Carrie Fisher was not so much of an actress anymore, quite frankly.
Well, yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's true. You know,
it's one of those things we don't talk about.
The personality,
as you know, like as Star Wars fans. But yeah,
but it's true.
Carrie Fisher.
Listen, I love her to death. I love her personality. I love the human being that she was. But like as an actress in her later years, she wasn't much of an actress. If you
look at her performance, she's objectively terrible. And I hate saying that because no one wants to dislike Carrie Fisher. We all love her. Right. As a human, you know. But holy God, like it's awful. It's awful. And
it's probably why they put her in a coma for most of The Last Jedi. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they put her in a coma, but they still didn't do that much with Luke. You know, like, I don't know. I have so many gripes with that fucking movie.
You could have replaced and not change anything else. Just make Leia
Holdo. Why couldn't this have been the movie where Leia says, "No, Finn and Poe and my daughter Billy Lord and everybody else is a part of the resistance that isn't Laura Dern because you were not shoehorned into this movie because you're a great actress and you deserve better."
I love Laura Dern, but I hate Holdo.
Right, exactly. Even though the Holdo maneuver is like one of my favorite new like memes, like I think it's so great. Like the Holdo maneuver, that should be an emo song.
I'm not taking that away from her, but I hated her character.
I don't think she looked hot at all. I've never found Laura Dern hot except for maybe Blue Velvet.
Really? Oh man, she's totally like the sexy girl next door kind of look. Like,
well, that's what worked so well in Blue Velvet. She was the girl next door type. She was like oh my God, like this girl just moved in. Like, are you kidding me? Fulfill some fantasies, like, you know, like. She just has that sort of like appeal to her, and that's why David actually, you know, his nickname for her that he still calls her by the way, is Tidbit.
Oh no, that's terrible.
He's gonna get Me Too'd. I know it. If this thing keeps going, somebody's gonna fucking Me Too him. But the thing is,
it's a joke at this point. No one takes
it's a joke at this point, and we're all so fucking loyal to David that it's like, listen, he even says it in the show. In the new Twin Peaks, his character, Gordon, when confronted by the transgender character played by, what's his name, sex addict, in Californication, David Duchovny, he plays a transgender person as he did in the original series. It's not like a, PC thing. It's like, this is like what they wrote back in the 90s because David Lynch is so fucking ahead of his time and genius. David Lynch's character says something about like, they're going to fix their hearts or die. But then he also says something about like, Denise, you know me, I'm old school, when confronted about the fact that Tammy was being brought on as an FBI agent, which Tammy is played by Krista Bell, if your fingers are at the ready.
Krista Bell? All right, I'm going to look her up.
And then you'll see what he means when he says, I'm old school. And ladies and gentlemen, that is why we love David Lynch. He's unapologetically himself.
All right, so yeah, she's super hot. Absolutely.
All I see is Quentin Tarantino's Manson movie shifts off Sharon Tate murder anniversary date.
Yeah, she definitely pulls off that 70s look.
Your screen share is...
Oh my god, it is. What's he doing?
I don't know, dude. All I see is the Tarantino article.
Holy shit. What's going on here?
I don't know, dude. I can't see.
Can't see?
No, all I see is the Tarantino article.
Alright, I'm going to try and reshare.
Reshare the screen share.
God.
Because it might be the only way that it's gonna get shared.
It's two chicks jacking off a Wookiee.
Wait, I'm sorry, what? Is that really what you're trying to load right now? Because, listen, that's not...
I looked up that chick you said. What's the bell?
How did you spell it?
With
a C-H-R-Y?
Is that not right? I didn't spell it that way. That's what Google corrected.
That's why I don't trust Google. Like, honestly, every time I want to look up the picture, I use Bing.
So is that
it's
not
true.
right?
I'm sorry, what? ¿Qué pasó?
No, it is the right person.
Krista Bell. She's a gorgeous, like, 5'9" brunette, early 40s, spoke show. Got the voice of an alien, the face of an alien.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Absolutely. She's probably an alien. Yeah. No, she's incredible. She's incredible. She was just a part of the whole fucking, like, Twin Peaks festival thing, man. God damn. You know, anyways, I'm trying to divorce myself from the Twin Peaks family.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. So, God, what was I saying? I was saying something.
Ryan Seacrest is absolutely a douchebag.
Is he a thing still?
I don't think so. I think his name is basically retro. He's basically David Hasselhoff at this point.
He's probably
except without the sex appeal.
Count his money, fucking hot local chicks. Because I would.
By chicks, you probably mean dudes, but otherwise, I don't think you're wrong.
He's gay. All right, that's the thing about him.
Is that a thing about him? I don't know. I'm just kind of assuming because of everything about him.
I never watched American Idol, so I don't know.
I worked on X Factor.
I've never seen an episode of any of those shows. I've never seen Survivor. I never saw an episode of American Idol. I've never watched a single episode of any of that shit. I've never watched Jersey Shore.
Wait, really? Not even Bad Girls Club?
No. I've seen clips like on YouTube,
Sure. Sure.
But never a whole episode.
That's what's great about YouTube. That's why I'm telling you, man, YouTube is the new fucking media. As soon as Google, Google's never going to dry up, but it might get a lot of flack for basically being fascist.
YouTube needs to stop censoring people.
Yeah. That's really the next big argument. That's going to be the next big battlefield. YouTube, you can't be doing that kind of shit. Are you kidding me? Really? Look at some of the weird ass stuff that that you do allow to be
Mm-hmm.
posted
Mm-hmm.
on you know what I mean? Like bro, I know all about Elsa Gate and all those other fucking gates that are out there, you know what I mean? Like there's some fucked up shit going on the internet. Period. And I don't know what it is, some kind of weird ass mental conditioning shit. Like I don't know what it is. Um, but
Yeah, well, they definitely lost their way, and I think it has everything to do with the CEO, Susan Wojcicki. Like she's
mm,
like if you ever see her in an interview or listen to her talk, like she's clearly a fucking moron. Like there's no one like she has like vocal fry Valley
right,
Girl inflections for
right.
everything,
Well,
and
that's because CEOs nowadays aren't real CEOs. You know, they're just you know uh, great figureheads. You know, it's like, hey, look at this person. It's like, what's his name?
yeah, you're
I,
probably not wrong, but they still have decision making. You know, they have a way to influence things. I mean, look at the
maybe,
way
maybe
YouTube is
not.
managed. It's
Like
so
I can
incompetent.
see.
Of course, and then you see Susan Wojcicki, and you're like, oh, you're super incompetent. That explains everything. It all starts from the top. Like there is a correlation there.
Oh, well, I guess you're probably right. Yeah. It's not just because they're stupid idiots, but it's mostly because they're stupid idiots, to be honest.
More or less. I mean, it's reductive, but it's true.
It's reductive, but it's I know, like you know, I say reductive things at times, but it's usually to be meant with to hold a poetic grain of salt of simplicity, you know, because I think there is truth in things like that, you know what I mean? And a lot of people probably feel that way too, you know, like
Well,
what the fuck is
it's like the
really
old
going
Russian
on?
proverb of Cinderella: "If shoe fits, wear it."
Hey, listen, I wanted to leave my Russian heritage out of this for obvious reasons, you know, but
No, I was
yeah.
making a Star Trek reference. Chekhov was always famous. Like no one knows about Chekhov. He didn't really have a character, but the one thing he did have, he always made claims that Russians invented everything, and it was kind of a running gag in the original
Well, we
series.
did.
Like he'd always be
We
like,
invented
"Oh, Russians
satellites. We
did this," you know, or
invented cell
whatever.
phones.
Like, and they carried that through in Star Trek 6. And he said, yeah, that quote I said earlier. So,
Which was what? I'm sorry, I forget already because I am
when he
ignorant.
says Cinderella was a Russian epic,
Well, was it not?
I don't know. Probably, maybe, I don't know.
It absolutely was.
Well, then
I
Chekhov
know.
wasn't wrong. We should start a
I know.
hashtag
I
Chekhov was right.
hashtag Chekhov should never have been a red shirt.
Poor Chekhov. I always liked him.
Poor
I always like
Chekhov.
Walter Koenig as a person too. Like if you ever listen to any of his talks when he does like spoken word
Was
meetings
he
with fans and stuff.
Was he actually Russian? Did he, or was it just the
No,
whole?
not at
No,
all.
he was a fucking like
He's just a
Irish
pretty boy.
American.
He looked like Davy from the Monkees, and that's why he got hired.
Mm. He
They're
had
trying
the
to
hair at
capture
the time.
the
No,
young girl heartthrob market.
okay, I see. I see. Man, the late '60s, early '70s. What a time. What a time. But quite frankly, right now is like the new '50s. I don't know. Right now is like such a fucking time to be alive. Like, are you kidding me? There's so much change. There's so much opportunity. There's so much growth. There's so much, you know, revolution. Like a real, genuine revolution. Quiet, silent, subtle revolution that's taking place. That's changing the world. That's shaping the way that we're gonna live as human beings for the fucking foreseeable future. You
You
know,
think so? I don't know, man. Like
oh
we'll
no no
find out during the
I
midterm
don't think
elections, I
so,
think.
bro. It's already it's written in stone at this point. Listen, unless if we actually get a real Russian hacking, there's gonna be a red wave that's gonna carry us all the way through 2024.
I kind of agree with you, but I'm such a cynic and pessimist that I dare not hope. But I think you're right. I think a red wave is coming. It does seem that like they like even liberals are sick of the fucking far left. We're sick of the fucking
Mm-hmm.
racism accusations and the
Mm-hmm.
hysteria and the constant bitching about
The
Trump.
hysteria. The
are
TDS. That's why the walkaway movement is like a legitimate, massive wave. It's a massive influx of people who have kind of latched onto this idea, like, you know what, like I did walk away, or like, you know what, I should walk away, and
well, because
you listen to these stories.
Can poke holes through any liberal argument. Like, what do liberals hate? They fucking hate oppression against women. They hate anti-gay. They hate conservatives. But what is the one fucking thing they always stick up for? Muslims. The most anti-gay, anti-women's rights, fucking pro-conservative, pro-religious, fucking
Right.
like nothing they do makes any sense. It's like the gun control argument I brought up earlier. Like if you follow their ideology through its full circle, you realize it doesn't make any sense and it's self-defeating. That's why most leftists are not. They're not thinking people. They're emotional people. They don't think
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the problem. And therein lies, honestly, the greatest problem. You have to separate your emotional reaction from things, because that is how the media is able to manipulate you into believing things that aren't even necessarily factual. You know what I mean? As soon as you start getting emotional about a situation, is as soon as you're able to get slurped up into this narrative and this dialogue and become used as a peon of a narrative rather than an individual thinker who is accepting a situation for the bigger picture of what it really is all about. Like that's what so many millennials and college students and people are giving up. They don't care about the truth as much as they care about being right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it goes back to these people. They're emotional. They want social approval. Everyone else is saying this one thing. Well, I agree with it. Why not? Why
exactly. That's what I mean by being right. Like, oh, I have to feel bad for this demographic and I have to step aside and say, oh, my opinion is less valid, because no, bro. Your opinion is your opinion. Your opinion is as valid as your opinion is going to be. None of this has anything to do with skin color. And that's what Trump supporters are trying to say. We're trying to say, you know what? We really don't care about your skin color. We care more about your opinion. And that's why when I repost a video on my Facebook and it's a conservative video, like probably about half of the time it's a black conservative, because black conservatives are more likely to speak out and to use their voice than white conservatives.
Given the current political climate, like they need to be put to the forefront, and like it needs to be, this whole racial divide of politics needs to be taken down.
Well, because it's become racist, like because anybody who is not quote unquote on the Democratic plantation, right? Yeah. I'm gonna use that term because I feel like it's a very applicable term. No. But anybody who is not on the Democratic plantation is somebody who is either an Uncle Tom or a race traitor or da-da-da. And how much more racist can you get than saying, oh, you're black, you have to be a Democrat because nobody else cares about you like Democrat. Like, how much more Big Brother is that? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like all these people that say like, oh, I've read my dystopian books, I know what Trump is doing. Like, bro, have you been paying attention to the Obama era?
That's the thing that cracks me up is like Trump is anything but like, if you wanted to make that argument about George W. Bush, I would totally agree with you. George W. Bush pushed a big time Big Brother
globalist. No, George Bush. The Bushes were all globalists. The Bushes, the Clintons, they were all part of the same token. Yeah. You know what I mean? Trump is the only actual wrench to be thrown into the machine. Yeah, Trump is and that's why we're lucky. We dodged a bullet, bro. Yeah. God wants Donald Trump to be in office. God probably if God was a human being that came down to earth, he would say fuck and shit and pussy and cunt just like anybody else, because God is everything. Love, hate, compassion, understanding. That is unity.
That is unity. That is the future of our people. That is the paradigm shift. That is what is happening in America in the Trump age.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, that must feel good. Sounds like you're holding that in for a while.
I have.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Woo. The Saint AA. This is a continual conversation. So, what's your response?
I know we wouldn't want to lull.
Just talk over the roaring waterfall. I just bought a new waterfall. That's what you're hearing in the background. It's one of those little Cupid. You know, it's a Cupid. You ever seen Austin Powers? Yep.
Austin Powers. I never liked those movies.
Really, dude, I love those
because
movies.
Elizabeth Hurley is super hot and
She's so
watch her
hot.
and anything.
Dude, she's still so hot.
Yeah.
She's
She'll
she's like
you can save
5'10"
any
or
movie.
something.
She's
Damn. Why do I like tall girls so much? Is it because I'm a short guy?
Is she tall?
I think so. I think she's like at least 5'8", 5'9", maybe.
Yeah, I always wanted to see her as Laura Croft. I thought she'd be perfect.
She'd be perfect. Oh my God. Actually, yeah. I mean, Angelina Jolie, I thought was a pretty spot on, like Americanized representation of it.
Yeah, she was still in her prime at that time, so yeah, that was fine. Substitute.
Bro, she could pull off Lara Croft right now. She could pull off like an older, elegant, like weathered Lara Croft right now. But not even that weathered. Like, she's still pretty bad, bro. You gotta admit, like, come on.
Yeah, we don't need that though. That movie doesn't need to be made.
Yeah, it really doesn't. We already have Alicia Vikander, and I think Alicia Vikander. Okay, honest to God, favorite actor right now, period. Alicia Vikander. I gotta hand it to her, bro. She's amazing.
What else is
she's
she
incredible. She was in this. She was in a movie, Wim Wenders film, with James McAvoy called Submergence.
Yeah, I never saw it.
It was beautiful, poetic. Her performance was, ethereal and incredible. She was in a movie.
Oh my God, it's raining, dude.
Is it really?
It's raining.
Congratulations.
Holy
I'm so happy for you.
Look at that. Oh my God.
Oh, you're a happy son of a bitch now. Did I?
That's awesome. I wish my camera was working. I would show you guys right now. My camera's fucking. Maybe I can. No, I'm not gonna try it.
Don't even try it. I don't know. Like, I've just been using my phone. My phone seems to be doing the trick. I'm not even on Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is so horse shit. It's total horse shit. Absolute monolithic horse shit. Speaking of monolithic, anyways, where were we? What are we talking about? Star Wars, Kanye West.
We're talking about
Romanian girls.
And she's a good-looking woman. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have no problem with her being Lara Croft. I just always wanted Elizabeth Hurley to be.
Oh, Angelina Jolie, you mean?
Angelina Jolie is fine. I don't know. Has she done anything recently? What's the last movie she was in?
She's done. She's like she does a lot more directing these days than she does acting. Yeah, she's directed a bunch of movies. She's directed like at least like 5 to 7 different point. Like, man, she's prolific. Like, Angelina Jolie, I think, is a true artist.
Okay.
I didn't ever really realize it.
Like what? I mean, I don't know.
She's like
what movie has she made that was good?
You mean as a director or as an actress?
Yeah, as a director. I mean, I'm genuinely curious. I'm not being skeptical here. I just don't know. I didn't know she directed anything. So you just told me.
Really? Yeah, no. She's been directing for like at least 10 years now. She directed a movie in I think like 2005 or 6 was like the first time she's been doing it on and off for a while now. She's got a couple films on Netflix. One of them is all about like child soldiers in Africa, and like she did. I don't know if she
interesting.
directed. I don't know if she directed or if she just
I'd be really
starred in
interested
a
in
movie.
that, actually.
Dude, yeah, she's a very interesting human being. Period. I really am fascinated by Angelina Jolie because I always kind of wrote her off in the way that like I always kind of wrote Kim Kardashian off. I'm like, oh, this is just some dumb hot chick that is like a hot chick and that's her big thing, and she likes to be controversial and do da da da. Right, but then I actually go in and like learn more about like their backstory and like who they really are and like what they're really doing. I realize like,
Well, doesn't that speak
Angelina
to
Jolie
what
is kind of a genius.
doesn't that speak to kind of what we talked about 2 hours ago when we were talking about, there's no legitimate sources. Take things for what they are.
For what they are. 100%.
If someone says something
100%.
smart, even though they're normally a dumb person, fucking take the smart thing for what it is. Like, it's fine. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying Kim Kardashian is normally dumb, because clearly she's not. But I mean, she's about some things, but aren't we all? Whatever.
Right, exactly. Well, and it's also just a part of the cult of personality. You know what I mean? Like people have to keep up a certain kind of an image, which is why like it's so funny. You see so many different pictures of Kanye, like where he's smiling and having a good time, and then as soon as he notices the camera, he's got like this really angry face on. You know what I mean? Because he's trying to keep up like this sort of personality of like I'm this mean old fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like. And that's what so much of being a public personality, I think, is. And at this point, it's not even celebrity. Like, I think at this point, the word celebrity is almost irrelevant because you look at, like, I think my first big, like, telltale sign that the word celebrity doesn't mean anything anymore was when I worked a gig. It was technically a PA gig, but, like, basically what I was my job was to keep people in line to favorite YouTubers, like people who just like played video games on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, and I saw kids crying, like, oh my God, I can't believe I met this person. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? This person just plays video games on the internet. And you're sobbing. I didn't even sob when I saw like my favorite band when I was in high school. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, this is so dope. This is awesome. It's so great. I didn't fucking cry. I didn't get all like, but these people are sobbing over YouTube stars. Yeah. And this was like a few years ago now. You know what I mean? So that's when I realized that like the way that our culture perceives media and what like media at large has completely changed. You know, like
I'm going to sound like a conservative for a second here, but I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we don't have families anymore. Like we need some kind of way to belong, and we become kind of like it's like gang mentality. Like if you don't have a family, you need to join a gang because you need to belong. And the internet is like that too, right?
Yeah,
you need to belong somewhere.
Exactly. And the internet just continues to propagate that same kind of mentality where it's like, oh, I need to be a part of like some kind of a group, some kind of a mob mentality. I need to feel included, you know, and that's why people get behind all these like kind of hive mind mentalities and they don't actually think about themselves. They don't actually read the articles. They don't actually watch the videos. They just see like, oh, what's the general consensus? Yeah. Okay, I'm with the general consensus, and that's all it is. Yeah. That's all it is. People don't do the critical thinking anymore. Yep. And that's the only thing I want to advocate. That's a saying on, and that's the only thing. Like, bro, I am so motivated right now. Like, I've never felt like so genuinely like I want to accomplish.
And that's awesome. And
a new platform.
I feel like I got really lucky because I was born into a family that really valued family. Like we're Irish, we're Italian, and I came from that old school mentality. My parents had that old school mentality of, just, like you have nothing.
Family's everything.
You got to prove yourself by your merit. Like no one's going to help you. You got to do what you got to do, and just work and try to be friends with people. My dad. When I was a kid, he always tipped the girl that cut my hair. And I asked him, why do you tip them? And he says, He says, because we're going to come back and she's going to cut your hair again next time. And she's going to remember that, you know? Like,
that's a good lesson.
Yeah. And it kind of taught me a lot about, you know, you don't tip, you know, necessarily, you know, because
just
generous.
because you're
What you're doing is
expected
you're
to.
building a relationship. You're building a community that says, I'm going to
Right.
look out for you. You look out for me.
You got for me. Yep.
And we don't have that anymore. We don't have that sense.
I mean, I have that. I have that with my weed shop, but you know what? I'm an anomaly. I'm like I'm a brick. Yeah.
Do when you
Individual
break
people
down the
do
barriers and
sometimes,
get past all
but for
the
the most
fucking
part,
tribalism, and you talk to people, yeah, you find out they are actually good people,
when you
and they have that.
don't get past the tribalism. Most people are stuck in the tribalism.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. I feel like people are starting to break out of it, and I hope I'm playing my part just by sharing walk away videos and by putting like you know what I mean, like I'm not like, Trump's my boy, fuck you everybody, oh yeah, liberals suck my dick. I'm not like that at all. You know, like my whole approach is like, listen, I want to open up a genuine discourse. All right, so okay, as soon as I came out as a Trump supporter, the first person to actually respond, they responded with like a Jack Black gif where he was like, why? I think it might have been from Nacho Libre. I don't really know, to be completely honest, but it was a pretty funny Jack Black gif that was just like, but why? And I responded to him, and then we had like a civil discourse that didn't go on for too long before he decided to unfriend and or block me. I don't remember specifically which of the two. Fast forward to a couple of days ago, I'm working a job that is like actually one of the biggest jobs I've ever worked in my life, not because of my responsibility or because of whatever, but like Twin Peaks obviously, of course, was like the biggest, most significant, like emotionally like important job of my life as a PA or whatever, but PA stand-in extra, whatever you want. Self-plug. But this job right here was big on a completely different level because of the like magnitude of the people that we were dealing with.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was like massive. And so, I don't remember where I'm going with this because now I'm just distracted. I'm just trying to not fuck up my NDA. So I signed an NDA, so I'm like, okay, what do I say to make sure that I don't fuck that up? So I don't remember the original point of the message, but can you enlighten me? Can you remind me maybe a little bit of where I was going? No? It's fine. It's fine if you can't. Are you there? I don't hear anything right now. Yamis FQN. That's your Egyptian name.
Hi, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
My
there you are.
arrived, so I did.
Wait, what happened?
I ordered a pizza and it just showed up. So.
Oh, okay, fantastic. I thought like I just completely lost you, but you know, I was just talking. I was just basically talking to myself. So at the very least, I hope it was.
You know, I didn't think you would notice
interesting
that I was gone. I would just let you talk.
Oh, come on. I'm not that much of a, hey, listen, I know I talk a lot, but I don't go that long without asking at the very least a rhetorical question.
Oh yeah, sure. So, what were we talking about?
Something about pizza.
Oh my God, I'm so hungry. I need to eat this shit.
Do it. I gotta fix my face. God, my face is so fucked up. I hate. I hate being unhealthy. Is the problem? Being unhealthy is not a great way to live your life. James, are you aware of that?
Yeah. As I get older, I get more aware of that every day.
You know, it's so funny that you say that because so do I.
Because being unhealthy just shows on your face.
Dude, it really actually fucking does. Like, I feel like I've got more. Oh my God, ow. Oh, I'm putting camphor spirit on my face where there's pain, and it just is accentuating the pain. Anyways,
Yeah, I feel like, bro, like I'm 28 now. You know what I mean? Like I'm at the tail end of my 20s. Like I'm gracefully passing into my 30s, right? And I see my forehead, and I'm like, yo, when I like sometimes like it just gets all scrunchy.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, am I wrinkly? No, no, I'm not wrinkly. I need to take better care of my skin, though. That's for sure.
God, you're only
My
20.
face, ugh. Man, I'm so bummed out with my genetical lottery ticket number.
Oh.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I know I'm cute as fuck, and I'm totally fine being 5'8", and like I still got some room to work on with my body. But like, yeah, you know, I mean, like I'm okay. I'm, I'm not overweight. I'm doing fine. But at the same time, it's like, fuck, dude. Why do I have all these elements? You know, these things that fucking set me back all the time. You know what I mean?
The
Like,
problem's not you, dude. Like, women are fucking insane these days. Like, dating
oh
right.
no. This has nothing to do with women. This has everything to do with myself, my own self-image.
Oh, your own self.
I mean, which ultimately, yes, has to do with women, because I think everything we do as straight men ultimately is done to our abstract idea of our dream.
Uh huh.
Or did you not understand what I said because I was brushing my teeth?
Oh no, you totally lost connection for a second there. It was like stuttering.
Okay, so I said everything that we do as like straight men for ourselves, for our own, success and our own growth and all that, everything, all of that we do really not just for ourselves, but also this abstract woman in our lives.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This sort of like concept, like, yes, her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. Did you ever see the movie Her?
No, but I need to. I really
I
need
think
to.
you really do. I mean, I love Joaquin Phoenix is one of the few actors I can definitely say is one of my favorite working actors. Period. Right now, him and Jake Gyllenhaal. I can pretty confidently say that Jake Gyllenhaal is fucking phenomenal in everything he does. I've never even seen what's it called where he fucks Heath Ledger.
Oh, Brokeback Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, never even seen that, but I don't care. Like, dude, every movie I've seen of his,
They
and
made
I've
that.
been watching.
So SJWs would be pissed off that they didn't hire actual gay guys.
Dude, right? Isn't that so funny? Like, what was once considered like a monumental step forward for the gay community is now being considered by mostly non-gay, like white women, a step backwards or like a slap in the face, or you know what I mean? It's like, bro, do you understand the basic principle of what it is to be an actor?
Exactly. Like they bullied Scarlett
You
Johansson out of that
act.
transgender role that she was going to play.
Right. Right. Exactly. Or it's like, Ben Whishaw, an actual gay man, right? He looks gay, he acts gay. Of course, he's going to play Bob Dylan because Bob Dylan always kind of had those like wiry arms and that kind of like, I don't know, I might be gay. What do you know? Kind of attitude, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he plays the role very well, but he's a gay man playing essentially a straight man, as far as all historical documents have to show. You know. So is he stealing a job from a straight man? No.
Zero.
It's just he was the best actor for the role. And that's what it's about. It's about who's the best actor for the role. It's not about, oh, are you gay? Are you trans? Jared Leto, his performance in Dallas Buyers Club or whatever that he won his award for, where he gave that super annoying, pretentious speech where he was pretending like he was Jesus.
Right.
Actually a fantastic performance. And really probably did a lot to push forward like the whole transgender movement or whatever. But like in a sensible society, we would have looked at that and been like, oh, okay, yes, there are some people that are like this. But in a extremely liberal society like we were living in at the time, it was like, oh, these people need their protections and their rights more than some of our own regular, American citizens, or some of our own, like, well, I'm kind of going back to the illegal immigrant kind of thing, but like, you know what I mean? Like the focus went on transgender people in a way that was like so over the top, like, bro, like I've been aware of transgender people since I was like 10, 11 years old. You know what I mean? Like I've been to Capitol Hill. All right.
Oh, exactly.
I've seen a dude in a dress. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's not that fucking weird of a concept.
Gay people were just always a thing. Like maybe
it was just always a thing. It was like that in the 70s.
Yeah.
Bro, remember the 70s? Well, I mean, I'm sure you don't really remember the 70s, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like the 70s were such a prosperous time for America. Like black people, do you know what? Black people own more houses, or more black people own houses in the 70s than they have in any time since then, especially our own current time. Yeah. And I think that's going to change. I think there was a great speech. Did you listen to the Space Force speech, bro? Oh!
Yeah.
Wait, was that a yes? Was that affirmative? Did you listen to the Space Force speech?
No, I didn't. Tell me about it.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, you know about the Space Force, right? Trump's plan for creating a Space Force.
I love the idea. I love it so much.
Isn't it like one of the best things you've heard in a really fucking long time? It's the best thing I've heard since.
We need to get out into space. Yeah. We absolutely have to.
We got to do it again, man. Like, listen, that's a whole part of what make America great again means. Mm-hmm. And like, honestly, it's going to create jobs. It's going to be a huge industry. It's going to put us on the map ahead of everyone else in a burgeoning world. Because like they said, the fucking liberals want to laugh at it. But the thing is, like, these hypersonic rockets exist. All right. And they're being used by people who are not necessarily our enemy, but flirting with potentially being our enemy. Mm-hmm. And you know who's dangling in the mid of all that? North Korea. So Trump is just getting ahead of the curve by starting the Space Force. Bro, it's so, like, the more like research I do into it, the more it makes sense. It's like, oh, okay. So the Russians and Chinese now have the capability to shoot down satellites from Earth with their hypersonic rockets, and they can travel 5 miles per second. 5 miles per second. Wrap your fucking noggin around that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a real frontier. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't Star Trek, bro. This ain't, this is the real deal. This is like, this is happening now, and we need to do something about it. Because who knows who else will be able to, learn the tools of the trade. What if there's a new, terrorist organization? It doesn't necessarily have to be like an ISIS type, It could be any kind of extremist organization, that learns how to manage these kind of tools and shit. Like, they can do some really fucking awful things.
Dude,
so that's why we need a Space Force.
Once Space Force starts to actually happen, get ready for a slew of Hollywood movies that are anti-military, anti-space. Like, it's going to make Avatar look like fucking right-wing propaganda.
Well, Avatar kind of, actually, no, right? Avatar is basically as left-wing as you can possibly get. But truth be told, I feel like the ultimate message is actually more of a conservative humanist one if we actually focus on what the real problems are, not what the big bankable agendas are, but what the actual fundamental root causes of a lot of these unbalances are all about. That's what we need to do as a culture, as a society. We need to tap into the things that are setting us apart. that are ruining interpersonal relationships that have otherwise been proven healthy and successful, and like marriages are coming apart because of modern politics. And listen, if it gets to that point, that somebody somewhere went fucking way off the deep end. And you know what? Both parties did. But one party went off the deep end into the winning end, and one party went off the deep end into the loser's end, knowing that they were just going to be kicking and screaming all the way down to the finish line.
It does seem that
Feel
way.
me?
Even the Never Trumpers are going away. They seem to be all disappearing one by one.
One by one. And that's exactly what Kanye was saying in that interview. He says, why not try love? Why not try? I don't know. I don't remember if that was a part of the full video or just the part that you saw, because I know you didn't see the whole thing. But there's a part where he says, well, why not try love?
Right.
And that's exactly what the paradigm shift is about. It's like, you know what? Realize that, like, at a certain point, you're basically just filling up your own life, your short time here that you have on Earth. You're filling it up with this hatred and resentment towards this man that's never met you, doesn't know anything about you, has never done anything personally against you. But for some reason, you've made it your life's mission to be so hateful, to be so angry, to be so aggressive, to try and tear down this person and their policies and their opportunity to, actually maybe bring some change to, the political sphere, which is 100% what he has done so far.
Yeah.
Anybody who wanted Bernie Sanders to win should be so fucking proud of Trump right now. You think Bernie Sanders would have said CNN is fake news?
Oh, no.
No. He would have eaten out of the palms. He would have said, oh, CNN, yeah, I had some good ideas, but I think Hillary is, the better candidate, which is exactly what he did, which is exactly how I knew that the Democratic Party was compromised. And it's the same reason why so many other people knew the same thing, felt the same way, and are now choosing to walk away. They don't want to say I'm conservative. They don't want to say I'm Republican. And quite frankly, like, I don't really feel that way either, but like I'll wave that flag pretty proudly if it means they're the only people that I really feel like a genuine political connection with. I think I'm actually more libertarian than anything.
I think most people are. But isn't it interesting that when you break down what Russian meddling in the election actually was,
amounted to
the DNC, server, and exposing the fact that Hillary was screwing Bernie, like, that's essentially what they did.
That's kind of the bulk of it, right? Which is funny. So when people get all freaked out about collusion, like, I have to remind them, like, well, what kind of collusion actually took place, and what kind of information did it reveal? And if they have the answers to that, which they never do, then they'll realize, oh fuck, Trump is right. That's the way you got to play it, bro. You can't see. That's the way. Okay, you can't just you can't come at people with venom. It doesn't work. Venom just leads to more venom. Just builds on anger. It creates more of a negative vacuum, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm terrible at it, but I agree.
Yeah. It's fine. And it's fine. Like, I'm not the best at it either, Sometimes I'll get a little venomous. Fuck, you know what I mean? Sometimes I get pissed off, Shit. It's just human nature, You can't, you just got to do your best, right? But the point I'm trying to make here is, as soon as you start tapping into that more positive nature and a more kind of nurturing nature, where you say, like, yo, brother, sister, we're family, you know what I mean? Like, ultimately, we are. Like, I don't see that's why I hate saying, like, liberalism and being like, so, because to me, to put it between conservatism and liberalism is one of the most divisive things I could do. And I don't want to be divisive. I want to say, like, yeah, I'll wave my banner, which is, like, I guess conservatism, but that's only because, like, those are the people that I really connect with right now, and it's a really fucking messy time, and most of us don't really know exactly specifically what we are politically anymore, because, like, the entire spectrum is shifting.
Yeah. Well, when you have people shutting down freedom of speech and their justification is they're anti-fascist, you know you're living in a bizarro world.
You know you're dealing with actual fascists.
Mm-hmm.
What was the quote and who was it from where they said that the fascists of the future will fashion themselves under the guise of anti-fascism?
I know that quote, and I don't know the source. It's been passed around a lot. Like some people, some sourced it as like Winston Churchill.
Yeah, I heard that, but that doesn't sound right.
I think that's right, though. Yeah. Someone said it. But still, it's a good quote.
It's a great quote, regardless of who said it. I think there's so much truth into it, and it speaks volumes as to what Antifa is. You know,
Antifa's so white.
isn't it though? Listen, when I went to go see The Last Jedi for the first time, this is a true story. There was I went to Cinnabar. You know about Cinnabar?
I love Cinnabar. I miss it so much.
Isn't it one of the best?
I love that theater. Yeah.
I go to the Mountain Lake Terrace one.
Yep. I know that theater. I've been there many times. I love it.
Many times. Great. It's amazing. Isn't it? I love going there. They have great. I mean, not great, but like serviceable, fine food. You know, the environment is fantastic. Yeah. Anyways, I've been there many times. It's pretty much the only theater I've been to in the past 3-4 years or so, since I saw Force Awakens, which is the first movie I ever saw there. True fact. Oh God, nope, yep, totally forgot what point I was trying to make here.
Well, Cinnabar, yay!
Yeah, Cinnabar, fantastic place, full of great memories. Love it there. I think it's one of the best ways to enjoy a movie, because I think, you know, it should be a more sociable thing, you know. Like, I think going to see movies should be more of a, like, event with random people, and you know what I mean? Like, the way that, like, you know how, like, they have, like, summertime movies at places like Marymount Park or whatever, or somewhere on Capitol Hill, you know, they'll put up, like, a, you know, I think there should be more, like, event-driven film events. You know what I mean? Like, I think movies and film should be
done with older movies, not new movies. Like, I don't want people to
both.
New movies.
Both. Why not both?
Well, offer the option, sure. You know.
You know, like, I think a great double bill of, like, a 70s movie and a 2000s movie, you know, that, like, have some kind of weird connecting thread, you know, like I would love to host, like, event nights like that, you know what I mean, where, like, there's a particular theme, or there's a concept, or there's an idea, there's some kind of thread to different time periods, 2 different films, 2 different cultures, like, whatever, together, you know, and like, maybe some nights on one end you'll get, like, a popcorn filler, funny, silly, goofy movie, and on the other end you'll get, like, a deep art house, like, Fellini level film, you know what I mean? Like, it's the idea of making film sexy again. You know, like, I think, like, why isn't film sexy? I don't get it. Like, I feel like it should be sexy, because it has everything. Like, you can practically make porn in film, you know, if you wanted to. You know what I mean? But I don't mean sexy. I don't mean sexy in that respect. I mean sexy in the respect that, like, people actually want to, you know, pay attention to what's being told, because it feels modern. It feels like of the moment. It feels like, your finger is on the pulse of the nation or whatever. Like, to me, that's what I mean by sexy. You know what I mean? Because especially in these, this day and age, like, shit moves so fast. Shit moves so fast. It's hard to keep your finger on the pulse of the generation when the generation is constantly changing. And at the same time, you don't know who the generation is anymore because they seem to keep getting younger and more influential and having a louder voice. And you start to think, where the fuck did all my time go? And when did I all of a sudden become not a kid anymore? I don't know. I'm pretty much just projecting and speaking from my own personal experience, but like that's the way I feel. I feel like time has moved so quickly. Like I had my first cell phone in the 7th grade, and even then I felt like, whoa, hold on, police. I felt like I didn't even deserve a cell phone. Like, I really just should have lived all alone. And I pretended like I'm rapping to a song because that way the police won't think I'm on the phone.
Oh, my God.
That really just happened. And that happened on live. So I'm going to have to live that down for the rest of my life. Yeah. The rest of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you think? Should we start wrapping this up?
Well, I'm parking right now. I'm parking in a parking lot right now. So it would be a very inopportune time to actually wrap things up. Are you trying, is what you're telling me is you're trying to end this now, huh?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, not necessarily, just...
Because I feel like we can have so much more of a conversation. I feel like there's so much more we can talk about. And in so many ways, we barely even touched the surface. And it's not even, well, for your time, it's a little bit later, but it's only like 4 o'clock right now, my time. Do you have the energy? I mean, like, what is this? Is this a resignation statement, or do I actually have a legitimate amount of weight saying, like, no, hold up, let me run inside, grab something from the store, go back home, and let's continue this conversation?
I appreciate your spirit. I think I'm going to die, though.
Well, I don't want you to die. I very actively would, be against you dying. So let's do whatever it takes to prevent that from happening. Let's not do that. Let's not have you die. I would not be into that whatsoever. There's a lot of comps here tonight. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, brother, broski, mi hombre, it's been a thrill. It's always a great time talking to you. We talked for fucking hours, and I don't know. Was there anybody? Did anybody watch this time?
I think one person popped in at one point.
Okay. So. Yeah. Hey, well, we weren't showing our beautiful faces, so there were no, gentlemen to jerk off to.
I know. Next time we got to be on camera, and then all the ladies and gay guys.
Mostly gay guys. I realize. Listen, I'll accept it. Like I'm not gonna do anything about it. But like, I like the attention. Sure, gay guys. Tell me all about your weird fantasies. I want to know. I want to know what people think when they see me and they get a hard dick. Like where does your mind go from there? I find that so fascinating. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. It's just, So
stay tuned for next week when Dan shows the goods.
Yeah, that's right. We all know it's leading up to that. It's all been one big ruse. I'm basically just, it's just been, I'm just going to get naked next time. So tune in.
All right. Any final words before we close out?
I'm not really going to get naked next time, but you should still tune in. I mean, no, I'm totally getting naked. Any final words?
Momentum we had going into the next episode. Thanks.
Okay, fantastic. Well, no. Any last words? Yeah, no, absolutely. Just fucking use your voice and be real. And don't worry about coming off one way or the other. Just say whatever you feel is necessary to be said at the time, even if it's controversial. People will respond to it one way or the other. And even if they respond to it negatively, you know what? I can sit and spin, motherfucker.
Yay, 316.
What?
Yay 3:16.
Is that a Bible verse from
No,
the Yay?
Kanye verse.
The Yay chapter? Yeah. Chapter Yay, verse.
Chapter Yay, or the book of Yay, chapter
The book
3,
of Yay.
16.
Yeah. We actually did have a lot of great gems, I think, in this conversation. So we might want to like annotate it or something, or like write our own Bible. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no, I'll probably go back and put some timestamps in it for the topics that we covered for anyone that decides to watch this.
Or for anybody who has a bing bong type of mentality where the topics that you cover jump from left to right to up to down to what the hell are we even talking about? You know.
That's popcorn and politics.
That's popcorn and politics. Should I work on a jingle? I could totally work on a jingle.
Yeah, make a theme song for us.
I have the technology.
Fantastic. I can't wait to hear it.
I'll work on it. We'll see what happens.
Awesome.
Popcorn and politics.
All right, brother. Well, let's close out.
Let's
good
close
night,
out.
everybody.
Let's go. Cheers. Farewell. Fairly well, everyone. Sorry, I didn't show my beautiful face, but you know, life happens.
It'll happen one of these days. You just wait.
It'll happen. Next time.
Good night, folks.